Yeah, so I've just told you, although the area had a little traffic and there is an and over here, which looks for 100% parallelism, although the area had a little traffic and a few pedestrians or more pedestrians, whatsoever you want to say, it doesn't matter at all. Either you put an adjective over here or you remove the adjective from here. But what exactly we have learned for adjective, that adjectives ensure that it makes the sentence meaning wise much more clearer. So if there is an adjective that is put, because you can 100% read the sentence in this way, although the area had a traffic and pedestrians, that's absolutely perfectly fine. No issues at all. But if you have put a adjective for traffic and there is a and, you need to put an adjective for pedestrians also. So imagine I put a adjective here, although the area had a little traffic and a few pedestrians. I'm just trying to ask you, what is the meaning of little and few? Tell.
They quantify the.
No, bullshit, crap. No. Chill. So please understand, little means little, there's a little and a little. There's a few and a few. So little means nothing. Few means nothing. These are negative words, be very sure. When you say a little, when you say a few, it means it's something. There's something. This means something. So these are positive words. But we'll discuss all these things in reading comprehension, don't worry at all. There are a lot of stuff like, what do you mean by disinterested? Imagine if I give you a word, what do you mean by disinterested? Anyone, please give the meaning.
Not interested.
No.
Neutral.
No. Matlab, you can say neutral for sure. Neutral is one of the things that you can say, but it's like unbiased.
Asking for the meaning, right?
Yeah. So disinterested means unbiased. A judge has a complete, judge is completely disinterested while giving his own hearings. So disinterested means unbiased. Neutral is one of the things that you can 100% say no issues at all. So perfect. Let's come down and we'll read this, all the word games and all in reading comprehension for sure. So it says, although the area had a little traffic and a few pedestrians, so there should be some adjective over here. I'm putting it few. There's one wrong in this question. The developer were convinced that the restaurant should be open. Now, please understand, this is a place where you will be confused for sure. Now, I've told you there is a futuristic verb. What are futuristic verb? When you demand something, when I recommend you something, when I insist something from you. So these are all where there is an element of future involved in it. But in convince, like let's say I believe that you should get into Harvard. So when I believe that you should get into Harvard, this is my belief. There is no future involved in it at all. So in convince, if I'm trying to convince you, either you are convinced with me or you are not convinced with me. There is no any other possibility at all. It's not that I'm trying to convince you. And technically we can say, if I'm trying to convince you now, you will feel that, Rahul, after 1 month, I'm convinced with this. But this is not the actual meaning at all. So the developer were convinced that restaurant should be opened is 100% right. I insist that you should study is wrong. I insist that you study. I recommend that you should go to this restaurant is wrong. I recommend that you go to this restaurant. But please understand, this is not a futuristic verb. And again, you be very sure about it, one thing, because it's a very standard exam, all I can tell you. It will never happen that they give you the sentence and in one of the wrong sentence, they create a futuristic condition and they ask you to judge for yourself. It would never happen at all. If this is a sentence given to you, a wrong answer choice will never contain a subjunctive construction. Anyone, any problem, please tell me. A wrong answer choice, I can be 100% sure, will not contain a subjunctive construction. So it's again, you are supposed to analyze the answer. You are not supposed to create your own answer. So you be very sure about it, that the developer were convinced that restaurant should be opened is 100% fine. Why it is fine? Because convinced is not a futuristic verb. Anyone, any problem here? So this is absolutely okay. Now there comes semicolon. I think Ullas, this was your problem of semicolon, right?
Yeah, Rahul.
It's only a matter of time that urban brawl would bring residents and visitors alike. I have told you very clearly, future with respect to past. You should always and always go with would. Simple logic. These things was very clearly told. There is a question dedicated to this, question number 21 of essay rules. I've been very, very clear that, guys, this is a document that you should study once in a week for sure. Trust me, it will be very, very nice. So here, future with respect to past, there should be would. So the sentence is absolutely perfectly fine. Just only there is one problem in the sentence, is that area had a little traffic. There is an and over here. So you should use some sort of adjective like few pedestrians. That's it. There's no other mistake in the sentence. Now it comes to the use of semicolon, something which is very generalized stuff. So semicolon simply ensures, semicolon just says you, whenever you use semicolon, it says you that keep the clauses completely independent. There should be an independent clause on the left hand side. There should be an independent clause on the right hand side. Simple. But please understand they are structure wise independent. Structure wise they are independent, but logically they are dependent on each other. Logically you can't keep that independent, because if logically it is independent, put full stop. You don't have to put semicolon and all. So imagine if I say a sentence, Jack and John are inseparable. Semicolon, they do everything together. Now you can 100% ask me what is there all, because this is an independent clause. Check. It has its own subject and verb. This is an independent clause. It has its own subject and verb. So structure wise they are independent, but they do everything together. You can't have a doubt that they is going back to Jack and John, because if this is your doubt, then it's crap. Then again, you go ahead and put a full stop over here. If you feel that they are not related even logically, then you should put a full stop. You should not put a semicolon. When you put semicolon, it by default means that they as a pronoun is referring back to Jack and John. Anyone, any problem over here? So when there is a two independent clause which are structure wise independent but logically dependent on each other, you will have to put semicolon. And imagine, although he is poor, he is very honest. Do you really feel although he is poor is an independent clause or dependent clause? It's a dependent clause. Because this clause is incomplete until he is very honest is not written, or something else whatsoever. So whenever you have a independent clause plus independent clause, use semicolon. Whenever you have independent clause plus dependent clause, use comma. Whenever you have dependent clause plus independent clause, use comma. Dependent clause plus dependent clause, this is not a sentence at all. When you write a sentence, there should be minimum one independent clause for sure. Anyone, any problem over here? Gauri, is this clear? Shreya, is this clear?
Yes.
Yeah, clear.
Now, 43 number says the Battle of Gettysburg, considered as the turning point of a civil war, saw 1/3 of its participants killed and injured. Listen, you can't be killed and injured. Either you can be killed or you can be injured. Be very sure about it. Either you can be killed or you can be injured. And there is one thing. Now, please understand, like, I'm absolutely not in favor of that you go and try and mug up any idioms and all, because what we have seen from last 4 to 5 years, there is not one single question where people have come and told, Rahul, it is completely idiom based. And imagine if a question comes which is completely idiom based. If one question comes, it's better you leave it rather than you go and mug up some idioms of, like, there are like, once you go and write GMAT idiom in the Google, you will have some 1 lakh idiom in front of you. So please, whatever idiom is in this handbook, in this essay rules, and whatever the questions that we'll be doing, we'll be covering almost like whatever idiom is here, you just concentrate on that. Do not concentrate on idioms at all, because once you get into the idiom stuff, trust me, your entire concepts will go for toss. I can be very sure about it. So please do not go back of idioms. You are not supposed to go and remember idioms at all. What are the very normal ones, both X and Y, either X or Y? Those are the things that I'll tell you. How much ever I tell you, that is more than sufficient. But yes, if at all a question comes which none of us know how the questions are set, how it comes, if at all any question comes which is completely idiomatic based, we'll have to leave that. Matlab, you take a smart guess and move on. But I would not ever recommend that go and learn idioms. It's always better to go through the concepts, because once you get into idiom stuff and all, your entire mind will start working in a very different way. So it says that consider as is a wrong idiom. Now here you can't ask me a question, ki Rahul, why it is a wrong idiom, because idioms are nothing but a slang. Now this is how Americans speak, so you can't question it, ki Rahul, why it is right, why it is right and all. It is right, that's it. So consider as they consider to be a wrong idiom. So it is only considered. As per the meaning of the sentence, you can't have somebody killed and injured. You can either be killed or injured. So the right sentence would be the Battle of Gettysburg, considered the turning point of a civil war, so 1/3 of its participants killed and injured or injured. So consider as is a wrong idiom, and there is no question asked at all ki why it is wrong idiom. Idioms are slang that American speaks, and this is how it is spoken. Agreed? So come down to question number 44 now. So there are 4 constructions that we have studied, right? One was subjunctive. We have already done it. Subjunctive is what? You should have a futuristic verb plus that plus root form of the verb or be. The second was abstract noun construction. And what is abstract noun construction? This also we have studied, that you remove a ambiguous pronoun with eligible noun. Ambiguous pronoun with eligible noun. This was an abstract noun construction. Now comes absolute phrase. So what is absolute phrase? We'll study, but again, in a lot of GMAT club, when you go ahead and see, they say that absolute phrase has been extinct, but again, this is maybe tested, so we should read, why not? So see here, when you read this sentence, John looked nervous. John looked nervous. When you read this sentence, don't you feel this is a complete clause? Yes or no? Tell me this. Don't read the next part. When just you read John looked nervous, is this a complete clause? Independent
Yes.
clause, I mean. Yes, right?
Yes.
Now the after comma, it says her fears creeping upon her. It very clearly says this sentence may look wrong at the first sight, as the second part does not have any verb, and that's the reason it is called as an absolute phrase, because there is no verb. If there is a verb, it will be called as a clause. However, this construction is considered correct on GMAT always. This is called absolute phrase. Now let's understand what exactly is an absolute phrase. When you read this sentence, John looked nervous. This is a complete clause. Her fears creeping upon her. Tell me, her fears creeping upon her is doing what? Don't you feel it is trying to give some additional information about John? Anyone, any other logic? Because they have told you this construction is called correct. So at no point of time you should ever think about ki Rahul, why it is correct, why it's not wrong. It is not why it is correct. You have to understand to this structure that this structure of the sentence are valid in GMAT. So don't challenge the constructions at all. I have told you very clearly 4 constructions are tested. If a question tests you on construction, you can 100% choose that answer and move on without irrespective of looking why 4 answer choices are wrong. Be very sure about it, because in all the questions you have to look why 4 answer choices are wrong. So at least if you get a construction problem, you can just mark the answer and move on and it will be right for sure. So when I read this sentence, John looked nervous, it's an independent clause. And then it comes her fears creeping upon her. Now tell me, what exactly her fears creeping upon her is doing? Don't you feel it's trying to give you some additional information about John? It's not absolutely the core part of the sentence. The core part of the sentence is John looked nervous. Is this agreed? Anyone has any doubt over here? Please tell. Now imagine here, Tom pelled when he came back home. Don't you feel this is a complete clause? When I say his mother is standing in the doorway, what is the sentence trying to do? Don't you feel it is giving you some additional information about Tom, that his mother is standing in the doorway when he's coming to the house? Anyone, any problem here? Please tell. Gauri,
Yeah, all clear.
is this clear? Harsh, is this clear?
Yes, it is.
So it says that Tom paled when he came back home. His mother is standing on the doorway, is giving you some additional information about Tom. And this is a complete clause. Check here. So return to her bench. Complete clause. Her face, now there is a comma, and it says her face showing all the unhappiness that had suddenly overtaken her. It is doing nothing but giving you some additional information about C. You can't write C over here. You have to put some name, to return to her bench. Her face showing all the unhappiness that had suddenly overtaken her. Agreed? The boy was a complete clause. His eyes bulging in the dark. What is this again trying to do? This is trying to give you some additional information about the boy. Now come down to over here. It says that, notice in the above sentence, the part after comma is called as an absolute phrase. It starts with the possessive form. Check. It is her, his, their, his, all its. It starts with a possessive form. It only adds to the meaning. Just additional or filler information. It is not the core information. It contains no verb because it's a phrase. Please understand, if it starts with a possessive form after the comma, just remember the structure. That is, there's a complete clause, and after comma, if a sentence is starting with the possessive form of a pronoun, technically it should have no verb at all. Those structure of sentences are called absolute phrase constructions. Now, the only problem, guys, here is, like, I'm not satisfied. You may be 100% satisfied for sure. You may look for yourself. It says it's adverbial in nature. Adverbial in nature means what? This entire thing goes back to the entire clause. It doesn't go back to one single noun. But I've tried my best to try and understand. I don't agree to this logic at all. I feel that it goes back to one single noun itself. But it says, and it very clearly said it goes back to the whole clause, not to the specific noun. So please ensure you read by yourself, understand that it is going back to one noun or it is going back to the entire clause. Doesn't matter at all. If you understand the structure, that's more than sufficient. But this is a place where you can 100% check for yourself. Like a lot of students have also told me, ki, no, Rahul, it goes back to the entire clause. When they say John looked nervous, her fears creeping up on her. So they say ki her fears is nothing but a sort of ki because he is nervous. I don't understand that. Like imagine the boy was, his eyes bulging in the dark. So it is giving you some additional information about boy only. Or let's say Tom Pelled when he came back home. Now his mother is standing in the doorway. How does his mother standing in the doorway refers to the entire clause? I have no idea. I feel that it goes back to one single noun. It gives you some additional information about noun, but because it is written and they have very clearly mentioned, it goes back to the whole clause. So please, you have your own understanding, but be very clear with the structure. Very clear. That's extremely important.
Rahul, sorry, when I was studying this, I realized it might be because the possessive form will go back to the noun, but the rest of the
I
modifier
understand. I
goes
understand.
back to the
100%
context
understand.
of.
I 100% understand, Shisha. But it's up to you. It's so like
Okay.
you should be clear with the structure. That's it. A
Okay.
lot of people have told me, but somehow I don't understand. I don't agree to the entire logic, but it's okay. It doesn't matter. Please try question number this. Now, this could be one of the toughest question if you have no idea about absolute phrase in the GMAT. Class E 800 level problem, I can tell you. But if you know absolute phrase, you can 100% do it. So can you please try? Take 2 minutes. Tell the answer. If you don't speak, I won't understand what have you understood or not. So tell. Maths class, you people are silent, it's fine. But verbal class, you can't be silent, man. Answers, please. Purva D. Akansha D. Okay. Trisha D. Gauri, what's your answer? Ulash, answer E. Gauri, you have not followed the absolute phrase construction. Please check. Just follow construction. Shreya D. Harsh. Why the hell you people are going to D? D, look for the meaning. What I've told you. Being means what? ING form means a moment of time. Do you think it'll be for just one moment of time created by bottles of different temperature, prevented by it's a caustic energy prevented from being dissipated? Do you think it will happen at one time or it will keep happening every moment of time? C, yeah. So check here, first of all, now imagine how do we look into this sentence? Imagine you have no idea about absolute phrase, but again, with the practice, you must have an idea, Gauri. You cannot at all leave this. So when I read this sentence, sound can travel through water for enormous distance. Don't you feel this is a complete clause? Yes or no? Yes, right? Now, I don't know whether this construction belongs from absolute phrase or not. I'm just trying to tell you, ki, how should you be thinking in this question? Sound can travel through water for enormous distance. Is this a complete clause? Right? Now, when I read, there's a comma. Now, when I read after comma, prevented from dissipating its caustic energy as a result of boundaries in the ocean created by water layer of different temperature and density. Tell me, is there any verb in this sentence in the second part? If any one of you feel. Is there any verb in the second part of the sentence? Yes or no? When you are reading, you don't exactly know that this question is testing you on absolute phrase. Simple logic. Imagine if this question comes out of blue front of you. You have no idea about absolute phrase. You might have read it. But this is the minimum thing that I should be knowing now. Before comma, there's a complete clause, and after comma, there is no verb that is in there in the sentence. If any one of you feel there is any verb, please tell. Harsh, is this clear? Pranali?
Yes, it is clear.
Pranali?
Yes, it's clear. Yes, it's clear.
So there is
Yeah, yeah,
absolutely
Rahul,
no verb. So Gauri, listen here. See, Gauri, when you scan the answer choices, today we'll do the question. I'll tell you exactly how should we proceed ahead with the question, because reading theory is a different thing and doing question is a very different thing. So now, Gauri, you check. Moment you look in these two statements, there is a it's and it's, right? It means ki there is a complete clause over here. There is a comma, and the next part of the sentence start with a possessive form. I 100% know that in the actual sentence also there is nothing, no verb at all. So 100% my answer has to be from C and D, Gauri. Considering that you should know absolute phrase construction, because if you don't know this construction, it will be super tough to mark the answer. I'll come down to this is official guide question, by the way, not my question. And what is the explanation of official guide? I'll show you that also. So now between C and D, it's a caustic energy prevented from dissipating by. When you go to D, it's a caustic energy prevented from being dissipated as a result of. Please understand, ing form denotes a moment of time. And when you read this sentence, a caustic energy is not prevented at one moment of time, it is being prevented continuously. So answer should be C. Now imagine, it says it's an absolute phrase construction similar to the above problem. Take a look at this problem. Note, memorize pattern of each correct answers. Try to create your own sentence with the same structure. Now, this is a question of official guide. Imagine what is the answer over here. Here, the caustic energy is effectively modified by the present participle prevented from dissipating. Now, you need to be really Shakespeare to understand this answer. So it's very easy to say that official guide question should be practiced. I 100% agree it should be practiced. Why not? But there is no point to simply going and doing official guide problem without any sorts of a logic in your head, or else you will be simply wasting all the question. And again, I'm telling you, GMAT questions are very limited. If you simply go ahead and waste, because it is absolutely nowhere written that if you practice 2000 question, you will become a good in essay. Bullshit, crap. You practice 500 question, you will become really good in essay, but it all matters how are you practicing. Tell me now, imagine if you do this question from official guide, you accept this answer, but will you be able to use this particular answer ever in any other question? So the point is that when you mark the answer in sentence correction, there should be a logic which you can generalize it. You simply can't be specific, this question has this logic, or else by after 100 question, you will be completely gone. So please understand, official guide is very important. I myself will give you official guides when it needs to be done, but it will take a good amount of time before you go and do official guide question. Simply you can't go and do, or else you'll simply waste all the good questions. And in GMAT verbal, one thing I can assure you 100% with my experience, that GMAT verbal is extremely designed to the level of a question that is there in official guide and official reviews. GMAT quant is very different to what is given in official guide. GMAT quant is 180-degree opposite to what is given in GMAT official guide quant. That's very easy. But GMAT verbal is exactly matches. If you are someone who can do official guides problem right with a proper logic, I promise GMAT verbal will never be an issue for you. 40 is 100% done. But again, doing official guide problem, how you do it, a lot of things comes into picture. So that should be in our head for sure. Now let's do question number this. Answer is marked B, but you have to tell me why why others are wrong. Be very sure about it. So here the answer is marked. So I would 100% expect that to tell me why others are wrong. And please tell, if you don't speak, I can't understand. Take 2 minutes.
Rahul, I have a question in the above.
Yeah, please tell me.
So just to clarify,
Yeah.
one that we did recently. Yeah, just to
This
clarify
sounds
the
good.
option. Yeah, just to clarify in the option D, being dissipated will be verb, right?
Being dissipated will not be a verb, I would say you. It is still an adjective, because being dissipated is not a verb for sure, Harsh. No.
Okay.
No, it is not a verb at all.
Okay, all right.
Because for ing form to be a verb, it should be accompanied with some sort of a helping verb.
Yeah, right.
So it is not a verb for sure.
Okay, got it.
Try question number this question, but tell me why A, C, D, E is wrong. Don't tell why B is right. Now you know that this is absolute phrase construction. But let's understand also why others are wrong.
Can I go ahead?
Yeah, please tell.
Yeah, so I think that for option C, considered as right, so it is a wrong idiom.
No, don't give me that idiom. Don't give me that logic, please. No,
Okay,
not acceptable. Idioms is the last resort. You 100% look into the idiom, but when you give the logic, it should be the last resort of you marking the answer. If at all a question can be done logically, we should always prefer logics rather than idioms. Gauri, Ulash, Pranali, why A is wrong? A is it's very evident why A is wrong. If you can't say A, why A is wrong, you need slaps for sure. Tell. Why is A wrong? Gauri, Ulash, Pranali, anyone?
And
Sure.
is there.
It's simple. There is an and, guys, and it looks for parallelism. Europa has long been considered. This is verb. And with, after and there's a preposition, so this is not parallel straight away. So this is gone. Come down to option number C. Europa has long been considered far too cool to support life and has. We'll come down to this option. It's pure meaning option. It's a pure meaning problem. Option number C. It's very hard to understand why option number C is wrong. But let's understand D and E. It says what? D says Europa long considered far too cool to support life and it's. So tell me what is problem with D? If you mark D, they'll deduct your 50 points, imagine. Because if you're marking D, it means you have no idea about the sentences. D at all says that there is no verb in the sentence at all. Check. You are writing such a big sentence and you are not inserting one single verb. That means it's all over. A sentence can't be a sentence without subject and verb. So D technically contains no verb at all. If you know considered to be a wrong idiom, you can straight away eliminate. But logic says that D has no verb. Come down to E. It says Europa long considered far too cool to support life and to have. This is a verb. And there is no verb in this part. So again, this is a parallelism. I've told you guys, parallelism is the most beautiful concept to eliminate the answers. Question number 10 to 20 of SC problem. You should almost 100%. This should be something that should be read once or twice in a week. If you're not reading that, it will be off problem. Don't come and shout it. D is gone. Now between B and C. Now, if you want to, because B, if you look into C, C is absolutely parallel. Europa has long been considered and has 60 square miles of water thought to be frozen from top to bottom. Now, if you want to eliminate C, 100% if you know absolute phrase construction, that could help you once, or else you'll have to get into the meaning clarity. Now, with surface temperature estimated to be 230 minus 2, this is all crap, modifier. It says Jupiter's moon Europa has long been considered far too cool to support life. Okay. Now look into option number B. Jupiter's moon Europa has long been considered far too cold to support life, comma, it's 60 square miles of water thought to be frozen from top to bottom. So what is the actual sentence over here? Actual sentence they are trying to say that Jupiter's moon Europa has long been considered far too cool to support life. Why it is far too cool to support life? They have given you a normal, sort of explanation with an absolute phrase construction ki it's 60 squares of miles water is thought to be frozen from top to bottom. In this sentence, they are not trying to give you they are not trying to explain you two different characteristics of Jupiter. If you look into option number C, what would happen? Europa has long been considered far too cold to support life. Now there's another separate clause that Europa has 60 square miles of water thought to be frozen from top to bottom. This is not what something that sentence is wanting to tell you. This is not what sentence is wanting to tell you. Sentence is just wanting to tell you that Europa has long been considered far too cold to support life. What's the reasoning behind it? They have put comma, it's 60 square miles of water is thought to be frozen from top to bottom. If you write and if you are if you're writing a separate clause, it means that you are trying to explain that Europa has long been considered far too cold to support life. This is one explanation of Europa. And you are saying other explanation, your other characteristic of Europa is that it has 60 square miles of water thought to be frozen from top to bottom, but this is not the intention of sentence that they are trying to say. So this could be one reason that C is wrong. B is the right answer. But yes, again, I have told you in construction problem, we are not supposed to get into the reasoning of why others are wrong, because in every other questions, you have to go through it. If you understand this construction is right, you can 100% mark the answer and move on. 100% you can move on. So, and moreover, consider as, can't hear you. Can you please?
Can we just revise this one? Am I audible now?
Yeah.
Yeah. Can we just revise this this concept only one?
It's simple. See here. I'm just telling you simple thing, Gauri. Do not complicate it at all.
No, just the rule of it once again.
Yeah. So still, John looked nervous, right? Is this a complete clause? Yes or no?
Yeah.
Now after comma, it says her fear scraping upon her. They have very clearly told you this sentence look made wrong at the first sight as the second part does not contain a verb, and that's the reason it's called as an absolute phrase. But this construction is called always right on GMAT. So please understand all these constructions are nothing, all these things are nothing but a sort of adjective trying to refer something. But the point is that the writing style is different, the formatting is different, the structure is different, and that's the reason naming is different. You just have to acquaint yourself that this is a construction that could be asked in the exam. So they are trying to say you that there is a complete clause over here, Gauri. John looked nervous. Now after comma, you say her fears creeping upon her. You can actually fight with me saying that Rahul, there is no verb at all. But I'm trying to say that this is a phrase, Gauri, which is trying to just explain some additional information about John. Simple. When I say Tom paled when he came back home. Is this a complete clause, Gauri?
Yeah.
Now there's a comma and the next part starts with the possessive form. His mother is standing in the doorway. Now what exactly is doing? This sentence contains no verb for sure, right? ING form alone are never a verb, be very sure about it. 1000 times I've already told in the class. Agreed?
Correct.
So what is the sentence trying to do you? This is going back to Tom, referring to Tom. That's it. His mother is standing in the doorway. This is my understanding. You can 100% go and understand that this is trying to refer back to the entire clause, but please understand that there is no, this is a filler information. This should be very clear to you. This is not the core part of the sentence. And this filler information should start with some sort of a possessive pronoun. Her, his, its, their, his, all this stuff. So return to her bench. Is this a complete clause, Gauri?
Yeah.
Her face showing all the unhappiness that had suddenly overtaken her. What is this? Again, starts with a possessive form, right? And there is no verb in the next part of the sentence. This is just somehow trying to describe, see, according to me, you can convince yourself that it is going back to the entire clause. That's absolutely fine. But understand that this is a non-essential part. This is a filler information. The actual core part of the sentence is return to her bench. Agreed? So that's what they are trying to say. Yeah.
Sorry, in point number 6, does running hard also is also a part of the mod of absolute phrase?
Everything from here. So 6 boys came over the hill half an hour early that afternoon. Running hard. No, running hard is not. This is just an adjective describing. From here it will go. Their heads down, their forearms working, their breath whistling. That's it. Not absolute phrase will always starts with a positive form. Shrisha, be very clear with it.
Got it. Okay, got it.
Always.
Okay.
Gauri, is this clear? So this says that
Yeah,
after the comma is called absolute phrase. This starts with a possessive form, his, her, it's, there. It only adds to the meaning, just a filler information, contains no verb. Last part it says it's adverbial in nature. I feel it's adjectival in nature, but whatever you feel, the structure should be very clear. Agreed? And based on that structure only we did these questions. So imagine there is one more question. One of the toughest problem that you can get in GMAT. Imagine. And this is a question that's there in the handout also. Should we do it in handout? Yeah, let's do it in handout. Why we'll do it now? It's there in the handout. We'll do it in handout. Now come down to question number 45. The coach tried to put 5 receiver online, which ultimately failed. This is an abstract noun construction. I've already told you which reference of which is what. What do you think it's going back to? So you replace this ambiguous pronoun with a legible noun. The coach tried to put 5 receiver on the line, a strategy that failed. We have already done it. Like I have 1 onion, a deficiency that will make it impossible to cook the dish. You can't say I have 1 onion, which will make it impossible to cook the dish. This will be wrong. Because which goes back to onion, the meaning would come out as onion would make it impossible to cook the dish, which is correct. You cannot say which and that will make it impossible to cook the dish. So I have 1 onion, a deficiency that will make it impossible to cook the dish. I think we have done some questions also. In question number 27, 28 is all abstract noun construction. Please read that. I hope all of you have read it. Come down to a positive phrase now. This is the most important construction. So we are done with all 3 construction, that is subjunctive. We are done. Abstract noun we have already done. Absolute phrase we just did. Now a positive. This is one of the most important constructions of GMAT. So positive phrase says you what? That when same noun is repeated again after the comma. Now what we are doing is a positive phrase. Please understand this well. This is the most important constructions, and I promise if you read Economist magazine, in every paragraph you will confront with 2 or 3 a positive phrase construction for sure, 2 or 3 lines in every paragraph of Economist. So this is one of the most important construction, most favorable constructions to GMAT. So what does a positive phrase say? It says that when the same noun is rated again after the comma, when same noun is repeated again after the comma. This is the most preferred that's the most preferred constructions of GMAT. But please tell me, till now I have kept telling you that when same noun is repeated, it is redundant. You can't say Rahul is a good guy and Rahul is a smart guy. That's crap. Rahul is a good guy and he's a smart guy, because you're creating Rahul redundance. But this is not that logic at all. That Rahul is a good guy and Rahul is a smart guy. No. It says when same noun is written again after the comma, that's the most preferred constructions of GMAT. But what exactly it is? So please understand, in first part of the sentence, you introduce that noun. What happens in second part of the sentence? You explain that particular noun. So did you understand what's the difference? When I say when same noun is written again after the comma, that's the most preferred construction in GMAT. What does this mean? This doesn't mean that Rahul is a good guy and Rahul is a smart guy. This is a wrong sentence, because you are creating redundancy. So what exactly this means? So in first part of the sentence, you introduce that particular noun. In second part of the sentence, you explain that particular noun, what exactly it is. Now imagine, if I read this sentence, question number 46, in America, as anywhere else in the world, we must find a focus in our life at an early age, right? So this is a place where you are trying to introduce this noun. So what do you mean by introducing a noun? If at all you try to use a noun that has very generalized meaning, or that has a very specific meaning. Now imagine, focus as a word will have 1 lakh meaning or not. What is your focus in your life? Your focus in your life maybe to be a billionaire. Someone else focus in his life maybe to do a lot of social work. So every individual has their own focus at all. So if at all you try and write such a generalized word in a sentence that we must have a focus, this is all crap. We must find a focus in our life at an early age. Now it is your job to ensure that you go and explain that particular noun, that in what respect have you written the focus. If you simply say I have a huge focus in my life. Like let's say you're writing an article where you say, okay, I'm very focused in my life. Now if someone who is reading, he'll have 100 doubts. What do you mean by you are much focused in your life? Are you focused in your career? Are you focused in earning money? Are you focused in what exactly you are trying to say? So whenever you try and introduce some very generalized noun, which has 100 meanings, or some very specific noun, your job is to ensure that to make sentence meaning-wise much more clearer. In second part of the sentence, you go ahead and explain that particular noun, in what respect have you written it. So you look here, we must find a focus in our life, comma, a focus that is beyond the mechanics of earning, living, or coping with a household. Anyone, any doubt, please tell me. Ulash, Abhishek, Aditya.
All here.
Clear, Rahul.
Perfect. So it says that appositive renames the noun phrases and are usually placed what they rename. The bold part in the following sentence is appositive, but we'll come down to this. See here. It says the best construction as per the GMAT is when the same noun is written again after the comma. In such an case, an option is not available. Use appositive with some other noun. So imagine when I say the lady spoke out against racism, but you just put our president. Now imagine the sentence has so much of it. When I say like Rahul spoke out against racism, who is Rahul? There are 1 billion Rahul available in the world. No one cares at all. But you say Rahul, the prime minister, something and all. So it becomes a very hard sentence. It becomes a very weightage of the sentence. The weightage of the sentence increases humongously. So the lady spoke out against racism. This is absolutely perfectly. But to ensure that to elucidate who's the lady, put our president. That's it. Now again, that's what I'm telling you again. That everything is a sort of adjective. It's just that writing style is different, the structure is different, formats of sentence are different, the namings are different. But trust me, all these things are adjective, nothing else at all. Absolutely nothing. You are trying to describe a noun. So description of a noun you are just doing by repeating that particular noun. But end of the day, the second part of the sentence has got no meaning in it's not the actual clause of the sentence. The main clause is simple. Still, we must find a focus in our life at an early age. This is the essential clause. These are all non-essential clause. So if at all these sentences are written in, let's say, RC passage or CR argument, So these are the sentence question will never come from this. You don't have to even read this sentence if it is if it is written in RC passage. Just read and understand and move on. You should not pay attention on this at all. Always, I'm being very sure that when you read RC passages, whatever like you can come and complain always, Kirahul, there's some very tough words are being used and all. But if you actually understand the structure of the sentence, be very sure that will be 100% non-essential part. If you understand it, the flow of your reading would be very, very good. But if you don't understand it, be very sure. First paragraph you read, your flow is very nice. Second paragraph, your flow is very nice. In third paragraph, you come and confront with 2 or 3 very typical statement with a very hard word used, and that will ensure that your entire flow of reading is gone. But if you understand the structure of sentence clearly, I promise now you should start reading Economist, all of you, 100%, just one article for a day, and just understand the article. It's a very addictive magazine, but don't get addicted for sure. Ensure right now you're just doing it for GMAT. If you want to read, you read. I have no issues. So it says here the best construction as per the GMAT is when same noun is written again after the comma. In that case, options are not available. Use some other noun. The lady, our president, spoke out against racism. We waited at our favorite place. What is this? Nothing but you are just describing, my radio is in repair shop. Or you're just giving an old portable. It gives you a meaning very clearly that you have an old radio which is in repair shop. So this is what is a positive phrase. Nothing complex at all. Can you please do this question? Take 2 minutes. So can I straight away say C, D, and E is wrong? Because here it's a vast social VASP and there's a VASP over here which is being explained. But please understand what I have told you, that in first part of the sentence, you introduce a noun. In second part of the sentence, you'd explain that particular noun, and the explanation should be done in a proper clause format. There should be a verb while you're explaining the noun. So when you say yellow jackets number among 900 or so species of the world social VASP, comma VASP living in, this is more than sufficient to eliminate C, D, and E. Yes or no? Because you have to follow the structure, guys. Be very sure. In construction problem, you can't ask me why and why not. There may be a lot of problem inside also. That's a different thing. But A and B, we are left to. A says VASP living in, not a verb. VASP that live, verb. B is the right one. You have to explain that in a proper clause. Simple logic. Anyone, any doubt? There is a more question. Please do this. Take a minute for this. What the answer? A. Perfect. So it says floating in the water of Equatorial Pacific, all crap, an array of buoys collects and transmit data on a long-term interaction between ocean and atmosphere. Imagine now this sentence is so beautiful. An array of buoys collects and transmit data on a long-term interaction between ocean and atmosphere. And this is a complete sentence also. But imagine if a illiterate guy is reading this sentence who has no idea about what is ocean, what is atmosphere, So understanding that interaction between ocean atmosphere, it's a difficult situation. It's a difficult it's difficult to understand for the people who have no idea about geography, who's basically illiterate people. But once you describe interaction that affects global climate, now I think the sentence becomes very much clear. Now everyone knows what is happening in climate interaction, ocean atmosphere, they are talking about the interaction between ocean atmosphere, it relates to the climate and all. Everything is fine now. But if you just stop a sentence till here, it becomes very tough for a guy who have not read, who are illiterate people, to understand what exactly the sentence is all about. So a positive phrase does nothing. It just ensures that you get the meaning of a sentence very clearly. Just repeat that particular, just elucidate this interaction, what exactly this means. That's it. Try doing this question, please. A, perfect. Others, answer. Ulash, what's your answer? Abhishek? Okay. So it says, tell me why not? So obviously rules. D&E is gone. Simple logic. Nothing much to worry about. But tell me what is rules intended, rules intending. So when I look into B, rules with the intent of ensuring one nurse at least assigned, rules with the intent of makes no sense at all. That's crap. Now in A and C, what is the differences that you look for? Why not C? So remember, I've told you, Ulash, I think it was all your question, no? That when to use intending and intended, like when you should use under your control and not under your control. So I've told you when you get a question of such types, now you bring this entire logic of adjective, ing form of adjective and ed form of adjective. Ing form of adjectives are not something under your control. Ed form of adjectives are something under your control. Now, when you say rules intending and rules intended, rules are made by you, right? So it will be 100% under your control. So intending is straight away wrong. If you know that logic, it is 1 second to remove answer C without reading anything. The rules intended to ensure. Now imagine B is something which you could not figure it out. I've told you something about Van pattern and we'll discuss it in detail. Don't worry at all. Van pattern says that if a word is used as a verb, the same word is used as an adjective and the same word is used as a noun. You always prefer the verb form of that word. To ensure is a verb, ensuring is not a verb. So with this also B is wrong. Whenever you are trapped in two options, trust me, Van pattern comes as a sort of savior for you. It is very good, I'll tell you. It can save you a lot of time. But again, Van pattern is 90% right. There is a 10% where it can be wrong. And I'll tell you when it is wrong for sure. So this should not be the result of you marking. Van pattern should not be the result of you marking the answer until you have done some 300, 400 questions properly, logically, not simply just doing it. So this was the all thing. Now 47 comes. These are all conditional statements. So please understand, these are all conditional statements. So understand one thing, if in GMAT, if as a word in GMAT is used only in conditional statement, rest everywhere whether will be preferred to if. If in GMAT is used only in conditional statement. Conditional statement is what? If and then clause. Like if I meet her, I tell her a story. This is called conditional. We are talking about a possible future. The action is not improbable in the future. In this case, present plus future will do. So if I meet her, I tell her a story. Now you can 100% fight with me, Rahul. When you say if, and now you are saying there's a positive probability of me meeting her or someone. If I meet her, I tell her a story, me meeting her. How can you say this? If means 50% probability, probable. I may meet, I may not meet. That's absolutely okay. I'm not telling that you are 100% meeting her. But the point is that there's a positive probability of you meeting her. This sentence gives you this meaning. This is not that you are 100% meeting her. When I say still there is a positive probability, but I'm still telling you there's a positive probability. It doesn't mean that you will 100% meet her. It might be possibility you will not meet her at all. When if clause come, it means what? It's a probability, 50-50%. If I meet you, I will pay you $1,000. Gone case. So there is a positive probability of me meeting you. But the day I meet you, I'll pay you. But if, there may be situations where I don't meet you also, and that's also valid. So if I meet her, I tell her a story. We talk about the possible future. This action is not improbable in the future. Never use double future in the sentence. If I will meet her, I will tell her a story. This is wrong. Simple logic. But you can use present tense in both the part. If I meet her, I tell her a story. This gives you the same meaning, that there is a positive probability of me meeting you. But don't use double future in one condition, in conditional clause, in both the clauses. That if I will meet her, I will tell her a story. That is wrong. Now come down to these are hypothetical situations. Hypothetical constructions, in fact. Imagine if I meet her, I would tell her a story. Absolutely perfect statement. If I were to meet her, I would tell her a story. Absolutely perfect statement. Were I to meet her, I would tell her a story. But these are the sentences which gives you a meaning that there is a very less probability of you meeting her. You will most likely you will not meet at all. Imagine like let's say past plus would form, if plus would form, or were plus would form. So if I meet her, I would tell her a story means there's a hardly any possibility of my meeting her in the future. If I were to meet her, I would tell her a story means there's a hardly any possibility of my meeting her in the future. Were I to meet her, I would tell her a story means hardly there is any possibility. Exactly, it means the same thing. But where you use this construction, you have to understand that. Imagine if I write a sentence, if sea level rises, Chennai will be drawn. Is this the right statement? Can you write the sentence, if sea level rises, Chennai will be drawn?
Will it be would?
Chennai would be drawn. Chalo, this also. Is this the right statement? No. Because you are talking about some very hypothetical situation, very hypothetical scenario. We are in just 21% of Earth and we are talking about 70% that it will rise. We don't know what will happen to us. So you can't say sentences in this way that if sea level rises, Chennai would be drawn. You have to say if sea level were to rise, Chennai would be drawn. You cannot say if sea level rises, Chennai would be drawn. Because you are talking about some very hypothetical situation. Never in your life you can write such a statement that if sea level rises, Chennai will be drawn. It's a hypothetical construction. If asteroids were to strike planet, you can't say if asteroids will strike planet. That's also wrong. So in hypothetical construction, these are the constructions which are used for all the hypothetical situations. It means that the possibility of this happening is very impossible, very improbable. Imagine I tell you a sentence, if I were to meet you, I would pay you $1,000. Now forget it. Now this looks very good in listening, but I'll never meet you only. Where will I pay you? But this is how people traps you on the wording. So someone says you that if I were to meet you, I'll give you 5 lakh rupees, forget it. They'll never give you. If I had met her, I would have told her a story. Had I met her, I would have told her a story. This sentence is not about the future, something in the past that could not happen. Simple word. I hope it's very clear. If I had met her, I would have told her a story. Had I met her, I would have told her a story. Something about the past that if you met me in 2019, you would be done by something and all, something like that. Come to question number 50. There are hopeful signs that we are shifting away from the heavy reliance of fossil fuels. More than 10 times as much energy is generated through the wind power now as it was, or generated through the wind power now as was the case. So be very sure what is it going back to, you don't know. So generated through the wind power now as was the case. And it very clearly says that remember the constructions as is the case, as was the case, as would be the case, as will be the case. You don't have to remember at all. We'll confront with a lot of such constructions and you see exactly why 4 options are wrong. Because I would personally not say that you remember all these things because we are anyway, while marking the answer, we have to look why 4 other answers are wrong. And those are the things where it will be very, very clear. Okay. Anyone, any doubt? Now, guys, after 40 pages also in the handout that I have given you, there are a lot of documents, there are a lot of stuffs to read on. But don't read it now. Let's finish the sentence correction questions. I'll tell you when should you be reading it. I'll send you Manhattan sentence correction books also. If you want to go ahead and revise for yourself, revise it. But before you get into all those things, let's make our basics very clear. I can 100% ensure tell you that once we are done with the questions that we are starting now, once we are done with the entire questions, you read sentence corrections from anywhere in the world. I can 100% tell you, you will have a great understanding to it. No one can do 100% for you. It is you who need to do it for yourself. You will have to practice, you'll have to do a very strategic practice, very conceptual practice rather than simply practicing some 1,000 questions just for the sake of thinking, okay, I've done 1,000 questions. Those things will not work. So let's start questions now. Can we take 5 minutes break and start? Because this will be the most interesting session now. Now, this is something because what we have read theory is very different to how you approach a sentence correction question. Very different. And that learning should 100% happen, right? This is the main thing. But because if you don't know that theory using all those, when I mark the answer, it will be very hard for you to understand. But now I promise everything will be very well understood. And considering you all have done it, so let's take 5 minute break. Let's meet at 11:35. You please go get fresh, whatever it is, because next 2 hours we are doing this. So please get fresh and we'll start at 11:35. Okay. Okay, let's meet at 11:35. Now, next 2 hours we are doing this, so please go. Would do whatever you want for 5 minutes. Yes, all of you are there.
Yes.
Perfect. Let's start.
Yes,
now.
Rahul.
So before we get into this, before we start solving sentence correction problem, there are few steps that you need to follow. So what exactly are those steps? So step number one. So please understand, this is not, these are the steps that you should look in. All things should be there in your head right at the beginning. It should not that step number one, you should look, and then step number two, then step number three, nothing. Everything should be in your head. So step number one says that read the entire sentence. If you don't read, it will be a recipe to disaster. If you just read the underlined part, it is absolute disaster. Read the entire sentence. And when you read the entire sentence, you should understand what are the essential part of the sentence and what are the non-essential part. Very, very important. You should understand what are modifier, what are non-modifier. You should understand if the sentence belongs to comparison and whatsoever. So everything should be in your head. Step number two is scan the answer choices, the most important step. Because you need to understand differences between two options to use your logic. You can't go to statement number C alone and say, why is this right and why is this wrong? No. Until you do not understand the differences between options, it will be very tough. So scan the answer choices, it means understand differences between options. Very, very important. And when I say, and differences between options could be created either from the first part of the sentence, or it could be in the second part of the sentence, last part of the sentence. Usually, a lot of time it is in the middle also. That's a different stuff. But usually it is either in the first part or in the last part. Step number three would be look for subject verb agreement error for sure. Look for SVA. You should understand what is the subject of the sentence and what is the main verb in the sentence for sure. Step number three, look for and or but. Whenever you look for and or but, parallelism should come into your head 100%. Absolutely. Step number four would be look for constructions. There should be no ambiguity here at all. Because see, there is no other way except you marking why four answer choices are wrong and why the right one is right. So your entire way of solving sentence correction is that you should understand why four answers are wrong for a proper reasoning. 100%. That's a place where parallelism comes into picture a lot, I can say, in almost like 80% of the questions for sure. So it would be look for constructions, 100%. Step number five would be nothing but look for the meaning as well. But please understand, meaning will not come into your meaning cannot alone be a result of you marking any answer. Till you don't know the basic rules, it is hard to understand what is the meaning. It is very hard. So these are the things that should be there in your head when you're marking any sentence correction problem. And you should always try and generalize your solution rather than being very specific by reading some answers. No, absolutely no. Be extremely have an extremely generalized opinion while you're choosing the answer. So imagine the first question that we are doing. What's your answers? Can you please take a minute? Now, what have you done before? Don't look into it. Just look very fresh and see what's the answer. Take a minute, please. You have already done it. Hers, I don't think so. You have done it, right? So please do.
Yes.
So when we read this sentence, it says before scientists learned how to make a synthetic growth hormone. Harsh, what's your answer?
C.
So before scientists learned how to make a synthetic growth hormone, tell me, is this an independent clause or a dependent clause?
Dependent clause.
Dependent, right?
Yeah.
Now after comma, when I read the second clause, Removing it, pain is tickling in the small amount from pituitary gland of human cadaver. This is a dependent or independent. You can never start an independent clause with ing form, right?
Yes, yes, it is
This is
also.
more than sufficient to say answer one number one is wrong. Absolutely. Why not? Because our sentence can't have two dependent clauses for sure. You don't have to get in detail for sure. This is more than sufficient to say A is wrong. Even if you can eliminate one answer, trust me, it's a good thing for you. And you have to eliminate answer with a pure logic. You cannot simply say, okay, this is not, this doesn't sound good and this is, it sounds good. No. So, but imagine this is a very deep thing that you read and you understand. If the second thing is what we need to scan the answer choices, how to make a synthetic growth hormone, making a synthetic growth hormone, how to make a synthetic growth hormone. The second comes how to synthesize the growth hormone, how to synthesize the growth hormone. Now, when I read the next part of the sentence, removing it painstakingly, what is it going back to? Growth
Synthetic
hormone,
growth
right? Synthetic growth hormone, because synthetic is an adjective for growth hormone. Can you ever remove a synthetic growth hormone from a human cadaver? Please tell me this. Can you ever remove? Because there is no science that has been developed where they can insert a hormone in your body. Else everyone would be Tom Cruise or Angelina Jolie. Everyone would be the most beautiful person in the world. You go and get inserted some good looking hormone, you will become very good. But there is no science that has been developed where a synthetic hormone, a doctor can insert a hormone in your body. So you cannot remove a synthetic growth hormone from a human cadaver. This gives you a very stupid meaning. And same logic goes for B. Removing a synthetic growth hormone from a human cadaver, gone. Same logic goes for C. It goes back to synthetic growth hormone. It's a pure scanning, nothing else at all I have done. I have not done anything. There is no head that you need to apply at all. You just scan and you can mark answer number A, B, and D wrong. Gauri, is this clear? Purva?
Rahul,
Yeah.
we
tell me.
can't, the 5 steps that you mentioned earlier, you can't apply all 5 steps in every question, right?
No. All these steps should be in your head when you are looking into a question. That's it.
Okay.
There is no preference that you should load. Let's see, step number 1 and 2 is compulsory. In step number 3, 4, 5, there is no preference at all. You can do anything. Let's say if this is a question which is of construction, I myself have told you mark the right answer straight away and move on. Don't look why other 4 answers are wrong.
Okay.
So now I'm left with C and D. Scientists learn how to synthesize the growth hormone, learning how to synthesize the growth hormone. Who was learning how to synthesize the growth hormone? Who was learning? Scientists, right? So scientists should just come after the comma. So there's a modifier problem in this question, in this option. So C is the right answer. Simple logic. If this question you need to do in 20 seconds, imagine how. Use Van pattern. See, I'll be telling you 100% wherever Van pattern comes into picture, but I would still tell you that this should not be the result of you marking the answer until you have done some 300, 400 problem. Van pattern says that if a word you use as a verb, the same word is used as an adjective and the same word is used as a noun, you always prefer the verb form of that word. Simple logic. So imagine if I remove all these things, all. Now see here, synthetic is adjective, synthetic adjective, synthetic adjective. So these 3 are wrong, straightforward with the Van pattern. I'm left to see any. In E, there is a modifier problem which is very much evident. If this is not coming, it's a problem for sure. 100% it should come learning how to synthesize the growth hormone. Who was learning? Scientists was learning. So this is wrong because there's no scientist above the comma. So EC is the right answer. I hope it's clear. Anyone, any doubt? Apurva, Gauri,
It's clear, Rahul.
Pranali, clear? Question number 2. Take 1 minute. We have discussed this, but now the discussion will make much more sense than what we have discussed in the first class when I was teaching you the theory part. Take a minute, please. Solve, Harsh. C. D. Okay. Shrisha, D. No.
No, I said C.
Perfect. So it says greatly influenced by Protestant missionary Samuel Kirkland, the Oneida. After the Oneida is what? Plural form, right? The Oneida, the Mohawk, the Toltec, because this denotes a tribe. The plus group of people is always plural. So this is plural. So was and was is gone. Straightforward logic. Alone among the five nations were only the five nations, only one of the five nations had sided. When past perfect is used, please tell me. When there
When
are two actions in the past, or a point of time is defined. But here there's just one action. Oneida sided with the colonists during American Revolution. So Oneida is the main subject over here. And what is the main verb? Sided. So you can't say had sided. Had sided are only when there are two actions. He said that college had rusticated him. So college rustication first, he said letter. That's the simple logic. So E is gone. D says were the only ones out of what is ones out of five nation of request like insiding. What you are doing in option number D is that you are removing the main verb from the sentence. So option number D can never be the answer. I hope C is very clear. Anyone, any doubt? Please tell. Clear?
No, Rahul, all clear.
Perfect. Come down to question number 3, please. Easy one. Take a minute, please. Whichever is easy question, I'm giving you 1 minute. Whichever is tough, I'll give you 2 minutes. Yeah, but you people have done the homeworks now. You people have done exactly in the way I've asked you to do, right? Or some of you have not done it. Whoever have not done, please tell.
Me would.
See. Absolutely. So when you say, although she had been known as an effective legislator first in Texas Senate and later United States House of Representatives, who was known? So it says not only Barbara Jordan, it says Barbara Jordan. It was not only Barbara Jordan. So if we look into the modifier problem, we can straight away eliminate what? Option number A, option number C, option number D, right? Now we have just two things, B and E. So between B and E, B is the right one. Can you say why is E wrong? Anyone?
Because which was is used.
Which goes back to hearings, right?
Yeah.
It says which was televised nationwide. It is only hearings that can be televised. It can't be impeachment that can be televised. It can't be President Richard Nixon that can be televised. So that's fine. What is the other problem over here in the sentence? So this is one thing. Hearings is a plural form, so you can't say which was. It should be which were. Any other problem? Look. Anything else except hearings?
Then also later.
Beautiful, because it says that although she had been known as effective first in Texas Senate and looks for parallelism. Parallelism means the structure of sentence should be 100% same. So it says that although she had been known as effectively first in Texas Senate and later United States, it says and then also, which makes no sense. So this is gone. B is right. Can we do fourth number, please? Take a minute for this. So what it says, the Achaemenid Empire of Persia reached Indus Valley in 5th century BC, bringing the Aramaic script with it, from which was derived both the northern and southern Indian. What exactly the sentence is trying to say? Don't you feel it's trying to say that Aramaic script was derived both from northern Indian alphabets, right? This is what the meaning is, right? It was Aramaic script that was derived from both the northern and southern Indian alphabets. Any doubt? Anybody? And moreover, it says the Aramaic script with it, the Aramaic script. So please understand, it is there in all the 5 sentences. So it is not our job to understand what is it referring back to. Please do not get into the understanding of if one pronoun is there in all the statements, what that particular pronoun is referring to. This is not our job. You can 100% go for your own thought process for sure, but technically it is not our job. So it says Aramaic script from which was derived both northern and Indian, southern Indian alphabet. So both is a plural form, simple logic. So you cannot say which was derived. Absolutely wrong. Deriving alone in option number B and E is not a verb. And it is Aramaic script that was derived from both the northern and Indian alphabet. So we need a verb over there for sure. So B and E could be wrong because it is deriving. A is wrong because which was derived and both is a plural form. We are left with C and D. In D it says derives both, and in C it says derive both. So please, if you scan the answer choices, you can come to the right answer very quickly, I'll tell you. But if you straight away just look into D and alone start thinking, why is this wrong and why is this right, go on, case. So C is the answer. Derives is wrong. Agreed? Anyone, any doubt?
Rahul, so in
No
all
doubt.
the cases, keeping the derive, I've understood that, but in all the cases, we're not supposed to consider with it. So it's correct in the use in all the cases.
That is fine. No? Aramaic script with it, the Aramaic script with it. This is all fine. First part is all fine. You don't have to even think about it. Agreed? That's a
Yeah.
different structure of writing. That's it, Shrisha. Nothing else.
Okay.
Can we do question number 5? This two we have done. 5, 6, 7 we have done, but still take a minute and do. Now the understanding will be much more clearer than what we did before and during the class time. B. Absolutely. These are all the done questions. It says company announced that its profit declined much less in the second quarter than analysts had expected it to, and its business will improve. So company announced that. My first check is this that. Is this that a pronoun? Yes or no? No, because if at all this is a pronoun, it will go back to the company. The company announced the company profit makes no sense at all. And moment I see it is announced that, and when I scan the answer choices, I see it is and that over here, it is and that over here, it is and that over here. This is 100%. The question is taking you on that and that parallelism. Be very sure about it. So it is not for you to understand which is a reporting verb, which is not a reporting verb. The point is, the moment this is that and that parallelism, I can 100% come down to a conclusion that announced is a reporting. Is this very clear? Any doubt over here? So option number A and option number D is gone. Harsh, is this understood?
Yes, it is understood.
So now it says had expected. Now when I come down to B, C, and E, it says had expected. This says expected. This is expected. Moment you look into had expected, it means that you have to check that there are two actions in the past or not. And if at all there are two actions in the past, first action must have been had expected for sure. So when I look into this, company announced, this is one action. And then company expected, this is one action. But don't you feel expected? Because first you expect and then you go ahead and announce, right? You can't announce. First you create a vision for your company. You have your own expectations and then you go and announce that this is what I needs to be done. So had expected is absolutely perfectly fine. Now, moreover, when you scan option number B, C, and E, one logic is had expected, another is what? That business would improve. It will improve. It will improve. I've told you future with respect to past. GMAT only wants you to use would, never will at all. So company announced this was a past action. And to would should come, not will should come. So the B is a straightforward answer. I hope it's clear. Question number 6, please. Who is marked B? Absolutely. With its plan to develop a 7.5 acre of solar land, Cleveland is but one of the large number of communities on a Great Lake that. Now, what is this that doing over here? This that is 100% acting as a pronoun. And what is the reference of that pronoun? It goes back to communities because it's communities that is looking to its waterfront. It is not Cleveland that can ever look into the waterfront. It is not Great Lakes that can ever look into the waterfront. There is only one legible noun for that to go back is communities, and communities is plural. So is wrong. I have are looking, are looking, are looking. Are looking and its waterfront subject verb agreement error. So D is gone. Now I'm left with C and E. So it says are looking to the waterfront to improve the quality of urban life and attract new businesses. E says are looking to the waterfront as a way they can improve. This is called wordy statement. Absolutely nonsense. When you can say are looking to their waterfront to improve the quality of urban life and attract new businesses, this is 100% fine. Why do I need to insert as a way they can improve the quality of urban life and attract? This is wrong. So C is the perfect answer. Okay, let's do it. Seventh number. Seventh number, I think we have done twice, thrice. But still mark your answers, please. Take a minute. A, perfect, right? These are the questions we have done already. It says, however much United voters may agree that there's a waste in government and that. So moment I see that after and, the next clause starts with that. It means there should be that over here. And you can come down to a conclusion that agree is a reporting verb. The question is testing only on that and that parallelism. So agree that, and there's a that over here also. So straight away I can do B, C, D wrong. Now between A and E, there is no that and that parallelism. Because that and that parallelism is only when the first that is followed by a reporting verb. This that is not followed by a reporting verb. This is gone. Second reason could be that you are trying to change the intended meaning of the sentence. What is the actual sentence? However much the United States voters may agree. You are trying to do over here, there is an agreement among. So may agree means probability, agreement means 100% agreement. So this is wrong. You are trying to change the intended meaning of a sentence. Moreover, when you look into this statement, there is a contrast in the statement. Voters may agree also, they are finding it difficult to support also. So you need to use a contrast word for sure. You can never say Rahul is a good guy, but he is a stupid guy. And he is a stupid guy. This is wrong. If you're trying to say Rahul is a good guy, and if you want to say something bad about him, you will have to use a contrast word, but he is a stupid guy or something like that. But you can't say Rahul is a good guy and he is a stupid guy. This is wrong statement. So you need a contrast word. However much is a contrast word for option number A. That's the right one. And if at all, you can come down to a conclusion of A, B, and D is wrong. Then look for a Venn pattern, simple logic. I will keep telling you whenever Venn pattern comes into picture. So we it acts as a verb. So agree is what? Verb. Agreement is noun. So this is anyway wrong. Verb forms are preferred. So A. But this is 90% right. I'll tell you where it is wrong. It is wrong for some very stupid reasoning, by the way. You can actually assume that 99% it will be right. Question number 8, please. Take a minute. This is also done. After question number 8, it is all undone. So don't worry. Finish this. Pass. Perfect. This is absolutely subjunctive construction. That is futuristic verb plus that plus root form of the verb or be. So when you get into this, who demanded that it bring back the original Coke formula? So this is the right one. But A, B, C are why wrong? Because when you read the sentence, it says Coca-Cola Company in July 1985 yielded to thousands of varied consumers demanding that it should bring back. So please understand, when you look into this statement, it's very clear that it is consumer who is demanding that to bring back the original Coke formula. So demanding should be in form of a verb, 100%. And demanding alone, ing form alone are not a verb. So A and B are straight away wrong. Now, when I come down to C, now see, a lot of people say that there is a parallelism that is being maintained. But I've always told you parallelism always goes back to a same subject. Only then it is parallel. So when I see here the Coca-Cola company, because a lot of people says Coca-Cola company in July 1985 yielded, this is a verb, Rahul. And thousands of various consumer and their demand, this is a verb. But please understand, yielded is a verb for Coca-Cola company. And this demand is a verb for consumers. So you can't bring parallelism and all. There's no concept of parallelism in this sentence. This is wrong. Because parallelism always goes back to one subject. Who demanded that it bring back the original Coke formula? Who demanded it to? This is following the constructions. You can mark and move on. You don't have to at all reject other answers if you understand that the construction is being tested. But yes, if not, then you will have to 100% understand why other answers are wrong. Perfect. Try doing question number 9, please. Yeah. So don't you feel a positive construction is being tested over here? It says because of enormous research and development expenditure required to survive in the electronic industry and industry marked by rapid innovation, such firm tends to be very large. Now you are trying to describe here such firm tends to be very large, but there is no firm in the first part of your sentence. So you need to insert a form in the first part of the sentence. This is the only place where the form is inserted. This is form survival is just survival. It has nothing to do with form. So because of the enormous research and development expenditure required of firms to survive in the electronic industry and industry marked by rapid innovation, such firms tends to be very large. So now you are just trying to explain in the second part of the sentence what you try and do in a positive. You just try and explain that this firm tends to be very large. We are talking about the large firm. We are not talking about the small firm, medium firm, because everyone is called a company with 2 man can be called as a firm. A company with 1 lakh man can be called as a firm. So you have to insert of forms over here. So this is testing you on a positive construction. Simple, right? Can we come down to question number 10, please? Take a minute for this. Answers, please. Gauri, Pranali, answers. Shreya, Abhishek. Other answers, please. So what the reason behind the right answer? Please tell. Anyone? Yeah, please tell.
Yeah, I think parallelism is the
There's, this is the list rule, right?
Yeah, Wahab is in Arabia, Sansu in Sri Lanka, Fulani in Nigeria, and this and is to complete the list. And sentence is absolutely parallel, by the way, and this and is for parallelism. So it says that manifestations of Islamic political militancy in the first period of religious reformism were the rise of and the victory of. So these are two different stuff, and there's an and which is absolutely parallel. But there's one and missing to complete the list, because when you say manifestation of Islamic political militancy in the first period of religious reformism were the rise of Wahhabis in Arabia, Sanusi in Sri Lanka, Fulani in Nigeria, Mahdi in Sudan, and so this Mahdi in Sudan, this is a list that is ending. There should be a and after the list. So see here, there's a and check here before and there's a comma. So when you say A and B, this is absolutely fine. But when you say A, comma, B, comma, and C, or you say A, comma, B, comma, C, comma, and D. So whenever you introduce a list and there are more than two elements, please put comma before and. GMAT does not test you on syntaxes, but sometime yes, there are a lot of mocks which test you on this. So, and don't you feel there's a van pattern here? Manifestations, noun, manifestations, noun, manifestations, noun, manifestations, noun, manifested verb. So van pattern also applies. Option number A is right. Gauri, is this clear?
Yes, Rahul.
Question number 11 now. Good one. Good question. Please try. Take 2 minutes for this.
So Rahul, I have a doubt.
Please tell me. Ulas.
We need to apply the van pattern between the similar looking words, right? In the option.
Yeah. Same word, same word. Like a word can act as a noun. If a word is acting as a verb, the second
Yes.
word is acting as an adjective. The third working word, the same word is acting as a noun. Please use the verb form of that word.
Okay. So the same word is manifestation.
Manifestations and manifested. Manifestations
Yeah.
is a manifested is a verb. So,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
But don't make it a result, because this is 90% right, Ulla. There are some time when this is wrong also, and I'll show you wrong also. It is wrong for a very stupid reasoning, I can tell you that. But
Sure.
you can 100% use it. When you are trapped into three options, this is one beautiful way of coming out from all those confusions, which is right and which is wrong. I'll use it a lot.
Yes.
Don't worry. Please try question number 11. Good job. Why? Can we go into details in this question as to why each options are wrong? No doubt there's a hypothetical situation. This question is testing on a hypothetical situation.
You just gave this as an example.
Yeah. If this question is testing on a hypothetical situation, what is the construction of hypothetical situation? If plus were in the first part, another part, in the second part of the sentence, it could be would, could, might, all these words. Or were in the first part, and the second part of the sentence could have what would, could, might. So moment you talk about asteroid striking the earth, this is 100% hypothetical. Straight away you can mark if it were to strike, but would not cause planet-wide destruction. This is fine. But if we get into deep into the sentence, exactly how, like, because this is no construction, so we should understand why the other options are also wrong. So check over here. Anyone, any reasoning as to why A is wrong? Please tell, no issues at all. Don't bother. You may say you are right, you are wrong, doesn't matter at all. Tell why is A wrong?
Parallelism is not followed there.
What exactly it is? Tell me that, explain me that.
Yes, yes. So, but there is a but, right? So it requires parallelism.
Scientists have identified an asteroid that is about half, and there is an and, but.
At the end of the,
Okay, tremendous harm. If it can damage to us, so it can do a tremendous damage to a part of planet, but probably no, it's fine. It can do a tremendous damage. Can do is a verb, right?
yeah.
But probably not cause. This is also a verb. This is 100% fine.
Okay, I thought okay, got it. All right. So I think that's not right.
So tell Gauri, Ulash, tell someone nothing doesn't matter at all. You say right, you say wrong. You say
I marked it as wrong, considering it is in present tense. So if conditions would be strikes is in present.
no, don't look into that. You don't have to look into this at all. If you are looking in deep into the sentence. So imagine for option number A in this we are doing. It's 100% parallelism, Harsh, for sure. But always ensure that parallelism should only go back to one subject. You can never say Rahul is a smart guy and Harsh is a beautiful guy. That's crap. There should not be any and. It should be a full stop. So see here, when I say scientists have identified an asteroid, this is the first clause, right? Agreed. And now they are telling that is about half a mile wide. The asteroid is about half a mile wide. This is the name of asteroid. But can I say what is the in first clause? What is the subject and verb? Tell me this. Scientist, right? Scientist is a subject. Identified is a verb. So scientists have identified an asteroid. This is a proper clause. Ulash, Gauri, agreed.
Yes,
Agreed.
Rahul.
Yeah.
Now see, after and it can do a tremendous damage to the part of planet. Who can do a tremendous damage to the part of planet? Asteroids, right? You can 100% tell me, Rahul, it is referring back, reference is also a problem. It is going back to Earth, it is going back to asteroid, but that's a separate stuff at all in all. If you go deep into grammar, you can look into all these things, but meaning wise, what you feel? Do you feel it is asteroid who will do a tremendous damage to the part of planet, or you feel scientists will do a tremendous damage to the part of planet? Tell. Asteroids, right? So before and you are talking about scientists, after and you are talking about asteroids. So this is not parallel. You should not put and all. If you're putting and, if you're creating a parallelism, create it on one subject. I can say Shrisha is a beautiful girl, comma, she is a hardworking girl, and she is doing something and all. Then this is all parallel statement. But ensure that in parallelism, don't create two different subjects as a parallel. No. You can 100% say Rahul, scientists have identified an asteroid. This is a verb. It can do a tremendous damage to a planet. It is a verb, but please understand the subject is different. It can do a tremendous damage. This is going to asteroid. And the first sentence is going, the first sentence subject is scientist. The same logic goes for option number E. Scientists have identified and it could do a tremendous damage. So after and it could do it can be a asteroid who will do the tremendous damage. The scientist can't do tremendous damage to the planet. So A and E is wrong for this particular reason. So this is how you should be looking about parallelism. Option number B is wrong. Why? Because I've just told you never use double future in a sentence. If it would strike Earth, but would do tremendous damage to the planet. So use of double future in the sentence is not allowed. In a conditional statement, use of double future is not allowed. So you should not do. Now in D is a very beautiful one. It says if Earth is struck by it can do a part of planet tremendous damage. This gives you a meaning that Earth is only doing a tremendous damage to the part of planet. That's crap. So C is the right answer. So always like I'm 100% sure. Like if you have a great look for hypothetical construction, 100% look into that. I'm not saying that, but when you are sitting in the home and doing it, and yeah, play around with it as much as you can. Don't be frustrated. You are not supposed to think how many rights you are doing, how many wrongs you are doing. It's absolutely do everything wrong, but play around with it 100%. Like question number 12. This is also a beautiful question. Take 2 minutes, please, and read it now and mark the answer now. Don't mark the answer if you have marked it before, just by that way. Harsh E. Check Harsh again. It's wrong. Ullash, Abhishek, mark your answer. C. Shrisha, C. Okay. Shreya, C. So again, this is also a very beautiful question, by the way. So when we read this statement, don't you feel it's a completely cause and effect situation? It says in Louisiana purchase of 1803, the United States acquired these many square miles for about 4 cents an acre with more than double the country size and brought its western border with the reach of Pacific Ocean. Don't you feel it's a cause and effect situation by what was the cause? Purchase of Louisiana. Purchase of Louisiana was the cause. And what was the effect? Country size doubled, brought its western border near to the reach of Pacific Ocean. This is actually from the history. Actually, what the US you see right now, this is Eastern US. And this is West US. This was all Louisiana. US was very short, very little. The little part here in the east and west was Louisiana. And Napoleon, and this was under the control of Napoleon, but it had to go on a war with Russia, which they eventually defeated. And that is a moment when France and US are pretty far. So he wanted to sell this land, and Britain very badly wanted to buy this land, very badly. But at that time, Britain and France was like right now India and Pakistan, hardcore enemy. So Napoleon didn't sell it to Britain. Napoleon sold this for about 4 cents an acre. These are all true figures that is given to you. To US. And that's the reason it is United States of America. Imagine if Britain would have gone there, and that time Britain was a very brutal country. They must have, second day only, they must have attacked US and finished US. It would be Great Britain right now. But right now it is America, for God forbid. So the effect was what? The effect was doubling of country size and bringing the western border near to reach of Pacific Ocean. So this was also a US. So for them, western border was here. But now when entire thing has become a US, then this western border, the entire thing has become a US. So this has come near to the reach of Pacific Ocean. This is Pacific Ocean. This is Atlantic Ocean. So option number C, option number A and B is straight away wrong. More than double the country size, effect should always be expressed in form of ing form. Doubled and brought is gone. Doubling and brought is wrong. But tell me, why is D wrong and why is E wrong? E is the right answer because it's more than doubling its size and bringing its western border. So Louisiana Purchase was the cause. The effect was doubling its size and bringing its western border near to the reach of Pacific Ocean. Now tell me, why is D and E wrong? Any one of you, doesn't matter at all. Just tell why is D wrong and why is E wrong? Because we should know that also, no?
So D is modifying the word bringing in D is modifying doubling the country's size.
So D is modifying doubling
And-
the country size, comma, bringing the western border, right?
Yeah.
So this says that the effect of purchase of Louisiana was doubling the country size and bringing the western border was the effect of doubling the country size, which is wrong. There were two effects of the purchase of Louisiana, and that was bringing the western doubling the country size and bringing the western border near to the reach of Pacific Ocean. So you have to say and, you can't say comma bringing, because this is giving you a meaning that doubling the country size was the effect of purchase of Louisiana and bringing the western border near to the reach of Pacific Ocean was the effect of doubling the country size, which is crap. So D is wrong. Why is E wrong?
To my knowledge, I thought it is not referring to a proper, noun. So
It is referring to Louisiana, no? But you
I
need to
think it is
understand
wrong
that-
because VN pattern acquiring and acquired.
No, but it is wrong for a very proper reasoning also. That is the last resort, Harsh. Louisiana here is an adjective. Please look now. You can fight with me, no issues at all. But Louisiana is an adjective over here. Check. All of you. And a pronoun can never refer back to an adjective. It only refers to the simple definition of a pronoun is that it goes back to a noun. Here, acquiring these many square lines in Louisiana Purchase, Louisiana adjective for purchase. You can straight away remove and read acquiring these many miles in the purchase of 1800 say whatever purchase doesn't matter. Louisiana purchase just gives you a meaning clarity. Now we are purchasing Louisiana, but technically there is no need of Louisiana at all.
Can there be one more reason that it in it's mentioning acquiring and bought is also the same thing? They are
What Ulas? I didn't understand. Tell.
in the E option.
Hmm.
They are saying acquiring this square miles of land.
No, so in the
And-
option, what they have given you is that they have given you this as a modifier, sort of.
Yeah, so acquiring and bought, they are signifying the same thing, but they are written in different way. As in,
No, so here acquiring is used as a verb. So let's say when I say with Louisiana purchase, the United States acquired these many square miles of land. So this is a verb form. But here
Yeah.
acquiring is being used as a modifier adjective. So Van Patten is also 100% can come into picture for sure. Harsh, lekin you should know the exact reasoning. Exact reasoning is that United States bought it, bought what? Something. It should refer back to something. So according to this, it because United States bought Louisiana. So it here is going back to Louisiana. But the point is it can't go back to Louisiana because Louisiana is being used as an adjective. A pronoun never refers back to an adjective. So this is a simple reason. When you say acquiring these many square miles of in the Louisiana purchase, so this is all acting as a modifier which is referring back to United States. This is also okay, not bad. Agreed. It's just a different structure of you writing a sentence. That's it. Clear, Ulash?
okay, yeah.
Perfect. That's good. Try question number 13. Please take 2 minutes. No issues at all. Do whatever you want to do. It's a tough one. I understand. I can agree to this. But try whatever you want to do. No issues. And speak out the reasoning. If you don't speak out, it's your problem. I'm giving you I'm giving you a chance to fight with me. There's no issues at all. C. Wrong, Akansha. Look into it again. Shreya, Gauri, Fisher, what's the answer? E, okay. Gauri ma'am, what's the answer? E, Ulashi. Perfect. See here. So it says heavy commitment and executive to a course of action. So whenever the entire sentence is underlined, your first job is to scan the answer choices. Even if you can eliminate one answer with that scanning, that's more than sufficient. So heavy commitment by an executive to a course of action, especially if it has worked well in the past. What do you mean by especially if it has worked well in the, what exactly is this? This is nothing but a course of action, right? Or do you think anything else? Tell. It is not, especially if it has worked well in the past, is nothing but a course of action. That's all. So it should be placed just beside the course of action. So it is course of action, especially one. Okay. Course of action, but especially if it has worked well in the past. This is placement is very, very wrong. So option number C is gone. Course of action, especially if it has worked well in the past. Course of action, especially if it one that has worked well in the past. Because you have to scan. If you don't scan, it will be a problem. And when the entire sentence is underlined, scanning is the only thing that helps. So by scanning, we have got at least one answer wrong. Can anyone tell me why is D wrong? Exact reason. No alto falto reason.
I think them refers back to nothing here.
Where? Being heavily committed to course of action, executives being heavily especially
No, in D,
makes them likely to, right?
yeah.
But not the exact correct reasoning. Look for something else.
Misinterpreting.
Absolute parallelism. Look for or. Whenever you look for and or but, you can very confidently say this is wrong or right. So likely to, so it says makes them likely to miss the sign. Miss the sign is verb. Misinterpreting, this is not a verb. So straight away not parallel. So now you can very confidently mark Harsh that this is wrong. Very confidently. Can you say me why is B wrong? Anyone? Please tell. Doesn't matter at all. It's right or wrong. Worry. Why is B wrong?
Yeah, where it says executive who, and the part, especially one that worked well in the past, that's referring to the executive.
No, this is referring to exactly course of action. 100%. So see here in B, who is heavily committed? These are all crap things. So actual sentence in B is trying to say you what? An executive makes missing signs of incipient trouble. This is not what sentence is trying to. Sentence is trying to say executive is likely to miss the signs of incipient trouble. What the hell you mean by executive makes missing signs of incipient trouble? That's wrong. Executive is likely to miss the signs of incipient trouble. We don't need to understand what exactly is the exact meaning of a sentence for sure. Even I don't know. But the point is that this is 100% very evident. The actual meaning is trying to say executive is likely to miss the signs of incipient trouble. Option number B is saying executive makes missing signs. This is, and meaning wise, it's absolutely faulty crap. The problem with A is that makes it likely to miss. So it should 100% go back to an executive, but it as a pronoun never goes back to any human being. You never say it is a smart guy, it is a beautiful girl. It, in case of a human being, it only goes back to a newborn babies. That's it. Never to any boys or any girls, never ever. So the reference of it is a wrong because it is going back to executive. It cannot refer back to executive. So this is a wrong. It should actually refer back to executive, but it's wrong. So E, being heavily committed to a course of action, especially one that has worked well in the past, is likely to make an executive miss the signs of incipient trouble, verb, and misinterpret them, verb. Right answers will be right in all the formats, all. So E is right. So at a lot of time when you read Manhattan books and all, they very clearly says that being in any sentence is wrong, but not always. Not always. In 10% of the cases, it might be right, but in 90% of the cases, being as a result of this is supposed to be a wordy statement, so it is considered wrong. When you read Manhattan sentence correction book, they straight away say that if you say being, if you say as a result of, you can straight away eliminate the sentence, but not always. Not always. 10%. Like here, we have a 4 valid wrong answers in all the. My only job is to ensure that when you mark an answer, you should know why 4 answer choices are wrong. If it's not a construction problem, that's it. You do it slowly, it doesn't matter at all. But this will give you a full authority on the question, because when you solve a question, you should be 100% sure after all why the right answer is right and why other 4 answer choices are wrong. If you go in that 50-50% mode, it will be a problem. You might do someday good, but someday might be very bad, and which should not be the case at all. Like 14th number. Now it's very hard to understand the meaning and all, because even till date in my life, I don't know what is Clovis point, what is pair points. I never wanted to even research about it, to be very frank. I usually do my research at all if I don't understand some questions. After all, where these questions have been taken off and what context are they talking. But trust me, till date in my life, I have never searched this Clovis points and all in the net. Kabhi nahi. So it might be a possibility that we don't understand the entire sentence, but even the structure of sentence is understood to you, you should be in a position to mark the answer. In a very rare case, it will happen that you don't know the meaning of a sentence. But if the structure of sentence is clear, you should be in a position to mark your answer. Please try 14 number, take 2 minutes. That's fine, Harsh. Okay. Perfect. So it says even though Clovis point, comma, spare point with longitudinal groups shipped onto their faces. Now see here, it says even though Clovis point, comma, spare point with longitudinal group shipped onto their faces have been found all over North America, they are named for the New Mexico site where they were first discovered. So let's understand the sentence. What is this spare point with longitudinal group shipped onto their faces? This is nothing but a description of Clovis point, yes or no? When you read the sentence, this is what you feel or not? Or you have some different feeling about it? When I say even though Clovis points, comma, spare point with longitudinal group chipped onto their faces, this it means कि spare point with longitudinal group chipped onto their faces are nothing but trying to describe Clovis point. Now I exactly don't know what is Clovis point. I don't know what is spare point with longitudinal groups. Whatever seems to be some geometrical safe and all. But whatsoever it is this very clear that Clovis point, spare point with longitudinal groups is nothing but referring to Clovis point? Yes or no? Anyone any doubt here?
No.
Now say this. Now, if you understand this, then our job is to simply how scan the answer choices. Remove this at all. Now see, the question becomes so easy for you. Even though Clovis points have been found all over North America, they are named for the New Mexico site where they were first discovered in 1932. What exactly this is trying to say you? That Clovis points were found all over North America. It was found in Mexico, it was found in Brazil, it was found in Argentina, it was found in Peru, it was found in Chile, everywhere. Doesn't matter at all. But they were named for the New Mexico site where they were named out of what they were named only where they were discovered first. So there are two ways to go ahead with this problem. Either you 100% get deep into it, try to play around with the statements, or you can understand that discovery is a point of time, guys. Please understand this. Discovery is point of time. This is a word. What do you mean by discovery is a point of time? That if you discover anything, it is discovered at one moment of the time. Right now, there is a news that they have discovered some sort of a complete city in the down jungle of Nicaragua. Just before one week before, there is a news that a full-fledged city, olden city, has been discovered below the jungles of Nicaragua. I don't understand how they discover city inside the sea, inside the river. For me, it's very impossible for me to think even. So discovery is always a point of time. Let's say when you say that fossils of dinosaurs were discovered. So when you're moving somewhere, you have discovered something and you relate that this is fossils, and this it is discovered in just one moment of time. Your discovery doesn't happen in 10 years or 1 year or 10 days. If you have discovered something, you have discovered, that's it. At that moment, you have discovered fossils of dinosaurs, something like that. So discovery is a point of time. Be very sure about it. Now imagine I'm writing two sentences over here. Some things were discovered. Or I'm saying something's discovered. And this is tested very, something's discovered. Tell me which is right and why.
They both mean same thing. Different things, sorry.
So which is the right sentence? Some things were discovered is right or something's discovered is right?
Were discovered.
Some things were discovered is
Were
right.
discovered.
Absolutely, because this means that somebody discovered it. The meaning is somebody discovered it, and this concept, these two concepts is tested humongously. You will see in a lot of questions. Some not with discovery, but something else word. So somebody discovered it. This gives you a meaning. Some things were discovered means somebody discovered it. Some things discovered means it was discovered by itself, which is correct. And these things are tested hugely. So if based on this logic, I scan my answer choices, where they were first discovered, absolutely fine. Where first discovered, it means it was discovered by itself, crap. It says have been discovered, have been cannot be, have been denotes a period of time, never a moment of time. So this is wrong. I can say where first discovered, again it was discovered by itself, this is wrong. And this is have been discovered, it's a period of time, this is wrong. So A is the right answer. This is one way to look upon if you understand the word discovery is a point of time. You invent something, plane was invented in, let's say, 1903 during the Christmas time. I think it was invented 1903, 24th December or 20th, something, 3rd December, 23rd December, something. So it might be that the invention of plane took a lot, like the process of it took a lot of time. Might be Wright brothers must be working on a plane for like the last 30, 40 years before they took the first flight. But the day it took the first flight, we say it was invented at that moment of time. So we don't care about how much time it took to make a plane. But the invention of the plane happened when the first flight took place. The invention of phone happened when the first phone you rang. It doesn't matter how much time you took to make it. So you have to be clear with all these small words. Now imagine, this is something which you have no idea about. So now you will have to go into the depth of sentence. And you should go, when you are doing it in home, please take your time. You should not bother about time at all. If you bother about time now in exam, you will have no time. If you start marking up, if you start rushing up with the questions right now, you are doomed for sure. There's no doubt about it. Once you are conceptually good, time automatically will come into picture. It will never be a problem in whether it be a maths or it be a verbal. Verbal for sentence correction for sure timing will come into picture. In CR and RC, it depends that how fast you read. But sentence correction would help you a lot. So see here, when I say even though Clovis points, and I know that spare point with longitudinal group is nothing but referring to Clovis points. So the actual sentence is even though Clovis points have been found all over North America, they were named for the New Mexico site where they were discovered first. So don't you feel there is a contrast in the statement? And this contrast word is actually important. Because they are trying to say Clovis points were found all over North America, but they were named for the New Mexico site where they were discovered first. So there is a contrast in the statement, and this is important one. Now, when we come down to B, although named for the New Mexico site where first discovered in 90, Clovis points are spare points of longitudinal groups shipped onto their faces and have been found all over North America. This is not the required intention. This is not what author intention is to say you. The Clovis points are spare points. This is simply or making a sentence long. They have told you a Clovis point, and Clovis point is nothing but spare point with longitudinal groups shipped onto their faces. This is a description. You can't go and elucidate that Clovis points are spare points and have been found all over North America. This is crap. Absolutely crap. This is not the desired intention of the sentence or of the author who has made this question. A spare point with longitudinal groups is nothing but something which is referring back to Clovis point. That's it. So you can't create your own clause that Clovis points are spare points, and the same thing goes for here. This is not the intention of author. The author is just describing a Clovis points, and what are Clovis points? Spare point with longitudinal groups. So the actual sentence is Clovis points have been found all over North America, and they were named for the New Mexico site where they were discovered first. Now this is trying to say that Clovis points are spare points and have been found all over North America. That's absolutely not the intention of an author to create this. So A and B and D is wrong. E and is wrong for that particular reason. Now when I go to C, D, look here, it says named for the New Mexico site where they have been first discovered in 1932. Clovis point, that's brilliant. Now the way it is written properly, spare points of longitudinal groups shipped onto their faces have been found all over North America. I've told you right in the beginning that contrast word is extremely important. There is a contrast in the statement. There is no contrast word in the sentence. Check. So this is gone. 100%. I hope it's clear. You should do all these things for sure. Like when you're looking into the question, don't rush it up at all. There's a huge learning. And if you simply go mark the answer and move to other question without anything, there is no learning. You're simply just practicing for the sake of doing it, which is not absolutely acceptable. D kya bol raha hai? What is D saying? Spare point with longitudinal group that are chipped onto their faces. Clovis points, even though named for the New Mexico site. Clovis points, even though named for the New Mexico site were first discovered, but were found all over North America. In one sentence, you can't use two contrast words. You can't say Shrisa is a good girl, but she is a naughty girl, but she is a beautiful girl. What the hell? Shrisa is a good girl and a beautiful girl, but a naughty girl. So don't use two contrast words in a sentence. So A is the right answer. I hope it's clear. Anyone, any doubt? Please tell. Any doubt?
No,
No.
Rahul, it's all clear.
15th number. Please try. Take 1 minute for this question, not more than this. Perfect. All of you have D, right? So the first thing is that used by many natural history museum creators in preparation of the animal skeleton for display, dermestid beetles feed on decaying flesh of animal carcasses, pulling with its mouth part. So it is feed, feed, feeds, feeds, feeds. And it's over here, singular. So I can't use feed and feed. So this is wrong. So never it will happen in almost 99% of the question. You don't have to ever go and understand that this is a plural noun and then we'll have use a plural verb. Most of the time they'll give you a very nice sentence in the question itself. Based on that, it will be very much easier for you to understand that should you take a singular subject or a plural subject or something like that. Most of the time. So here feed and feed is wrong. Now between C, D and E. Now, obviously, D is the right answer, 100%. But some of you, can you explain me why C and E is wrong? Properly. In the sense, after all, why you mark D? It's not that, Rahul, it's pulling over here, and pulls and it pulls. Don't say that. Just give me some proper reasoning as to why have you marked. Obviously, this is wrong, but why? Can anyone please?
Is it because of cause effect?
It's not a cause and effect. Before we get into that, so it's not a cause and effect actually, because if the sentence is testing you on cause and effect situation, or if it is testing, or if it says the second part of the sentence depends on the first part, or you can say second part can't happen without first part. Exactly the same statement, but in a different wording. Second part can't happen without first part. Or you can say second part is an offshoot of first part. All are the same thing. So in all these cases, you use ing form in the second part. So in this case, it's not a cause and effect situation, but you can 100% say the second part cannot happen without first part, something like that. So that's why I'm giving you a reasoning. But still, tell me why is D, C and E is wrong for what reason? So here it is not a cause and effect first. It is like second part is dependent on the first part, or you can say it can't happen without first part. But that's fine. But can anyone tell me the reasoning of why C and E is wrong? Ulash, tell. Worry.
Because it implies that feeds and pulls are two different actions, not dependent on each other.
Okay. But you're giving some diplomatic answer. Tell proper answer. Good, to some extent, okay. But the point is that both are verb and both are referring back to a same subject. So
Yeah, but it feeds on the decaying flesh by pulling with its mouth parts.
So see here, when you say this statement, the dermestid beetle feeds on decaying flesh of animal carcasses, and when you put and, it means that the second clause is a separate clause. Please understand that. Here, second clause is a separate clause. So what is the sentence you are trying to say in option number C and E? Is that dermestid beetles feeds on decaying flesh of animal carcass, and dermestid beetle pulls with its mouth part to strip the bone of any residual fat. This is the meaning that option number C and D, E is giving you. Because now you are reading two separate clauses. The first clause is dermisted first, and the dermisted beetle is subject for both the clauses. So the meaning wise, this sentence would be faulty, but parallelism wise, this is 100% fine. So it says dermisted beetle feeds on decaying flesh of animal carcasses. This is the first clause. Now there's a and the second clause starts with dermisted beetle pulls with its mouth part to strip the bone of any residual fat. But the point is what it pulls, that we don't know. When I say here, the dermisted beetle feeds on decaying flesh of animal carcasses, pulling with its mouth part. Now I know that carcass pulling is pulling flesh, and pulling is nothing but a subset of feeds. The point is that dermisted beetles feeds on decaying flesh. How it feeds? Comma, pulling with its mouth part. What it is trying to pull? It is trying to pull the flesh from the animal carcasses. But in option number C and E, it is giving you two different clauses. The dermisted beetle feeds and dermisted beetle pulls, but you are not sure what it's trying to pull. And technically, feeding is nothing but a part, pulling is nothing but a part of feeding. You can ask a question, ki dermisted beetle feeds on decaying flesh, how it feeds? Pulling with its mouth part. What it pulls flesh from the animal carcasses. But this relation you can't establish in C and E. You cannot tell me what it is trying to pull. So you can say here that second part of the sentence is completely dependent on the first part. It is an offshoot of first part. Pulling is nothing but a subset action of feeds. How it feeds? By pulling with its mouth part. That's it. So C is the right one, and D is the right one, and C and E is wrong. So always I would say you can never ever simply accept some answer and move on. You 100% you know D is the right answer, but 100% try to understand why C and E is wrong for a perfect reasoning. Don't have this sort of thought process that chalo, it is a cause and effect, so this is right and E and C and E are wrong. No, it means we have not understood it well. And I'm 100% sure if you put this question in GMAT Club or in Manhattan Forum, one guy must have 100% told you something like this, some such sort of explanation. So my only request from you people is that do not accept some answer and move on. Be very open, and you are just studying. You are just like practicing. You are not tomorrow you have to give exam. So there's no rush at all. And this is a phase, if you go slow, I promise latter part will be very, very easy. Very easy. So question number 16, it should not take more than a minute. Very easy question. Pretty simple one. Please try. Absolutely. Here, what exactly are we trying to do? We are trying to compare gins to pearls. So when we compare two nouns, we need to use like, and we also know like followed by verb is wrong. Always wrong. So when I say like I said, this is a wrong statement. We should never say all this sentence. And we say this more than 100 times in a day. So as is gone, as is gone, as is gone. Like pearls do, like followed by verb is gone. So your B, you can straightforward. Easy one, nothing to worry. Come down to 17th number. Good one. I think we have done this question also in the class, but still, please try. Take a minute. Perfect. So comes, first scanning is what? Come. Most of the purported health benefits of tea. So this is a plural form. So A and B is gone. Now between C, D and E, why is C and E wrong? Someone please tell me. I've explained this in the class while I was doing. So please explain.
That and
Comma
that
before that.
parallelism is not there.
Fuck off. No. But there's no that in that parallelism. This that is a pronoun referring to compounds. This that is also a pronoun. So no that in that parallelism. Next.
C and E, comma and is there, but there are only two actions. One is found and the other is inhibit. So is that the reason?
Found and inhibit in which please tell me.
So I'm saying that in 17th, so if you can option C and D, C and E, at the end there is comma and after vitamin C, right? So, but there are only two actions. One is found and the other is inhibit.
So no, this and looks for parallelism. This and is to complete the list, Harsh. And this and is looking for parallelism.
Yeah, but I'm saying that after vitamin C, there can't be a comma, right? Comma and should not be there. It should be only and.
No, but don't get into syntaxes and all, please. Syntax will never be tested.
Okay.
Actual GMAT question will never test you on syntax. That's beautiful what you have told. But no, the simple parallelism, man. This is and. Now it says and that inhibit the information. What is inhibit? Verb. Right? Compound that are found. This is a verb. Also is just a filler. Just remove also from every place. Now you see compounds found in beta. What is this found? The coin found, the man found the coin. See you. The man found the coin. So this found is a verb, right? And now here I say the coin found in the museum. Found in museum was beautiful. Now what is this found? Adjective, right? Ulash, already.
Yes, Rahul.
Gauri. So what exactly
Yeah.
we look into option number C and E, Harsh, is that this found is an adjective. And this found is an adjective. And after and we have a verb. So technically it's not parallelism. What you have told syntaxes, that is 100% fine, but GMAT actual question will never test you that because of syntaxes something is wrong and right. But if you mark it, it's fine. Okay, no issues at all. But in option number D, there is a verb and verb parallelism that is happening. In option number C and E, what is happening? Before and there is an adjective, after and there is a verb. Anyone, any problem? Shreya, is this clear? Abhishek?
Yes, Rahul, clear.
Yes, Rahul.
Question number 18, just read it. Absolute phrase. Come down to question number 19. Can you tell me a very subtle reason for question number 19 rather than going into all these altu faltu stuffs? Very subtle reason. And it's so, I would say you that so clean that you will have no confusions at all. So what all you have done, I know what all you have done, but look for some other reasoning, please. You can take 2 minutes for this question. No rush. I'll just get water and come. This is up to you. You can complicate this question to an extent, or you can have a very simple reasoning to mark your answer. I'll just come. Please tell the answer. C. Okay. Others, please. Okay. Fine. What's the reasoning of C? Gauri, Shrisha, Shreya, tell. What is your reasoning?
So broadening will be the first factor that comes in
crap,
because broadens doesn't suffice.
That's crap.
First factor. Okay. Second factor is that it's describing that what it does, but just the
All
way
these
of
things,
Cobra
these are normal way of doing broadening and all. I'm telling you one simple reasoning, and that's the right answer. Simple. See here. Because when you read this sentence, it says Ognusnek puts on impressive bluff, hissing and rearing back. What is this trying to do? This is nothing but trying to describe bluff only, right? So the entire description is of bluff. So all these things are crap. So it says Ognusnek puts on impressive bluff, hissing and rearing back. These are all crap. All. Now check. But looks for parallelism. I have time and again told you. I've told you if question number 10 to 20 is good for you, you will be able to mark minimum 9 to 10 questions 100%. But if you don't read, it will not be good. The Ognusnek puts on impressive bluff, puts on. What is this? Verb. But
right.
it has no dangerous fangs and venom. This is verb. Kahani khatam. That's the right answer. It is having, not a verb, with preposition, not a verb, with preposition, not a verb, with preposition, not a verb. That's it. Is the answer.
Oh, I started with looking at broadening because that's
Everyone does that.
but
Everyone
they're
does
always
that.
simpler.
Initially,
Correct.
when I used to do that, for sure. But this is a very straightforward, clear-cut answer where you will have no confusion. So when you do the question, you have to 100% accept the fact that the answer that you have marked is 100% understood. I'm telling you, these 100 questions you understand well. I promise there will be no problem at all anyway. Question number 31 to 35, what we have put, those are the toughest type of a question that you can be asked in GMAT. It will not be more than tough than that at all. I can promise that for sure. So here, now this is the way to look. If you can look into this way, but 100% you have to look for parallelism. When you read this, when you look into this, but just think what they are trying to talk. They are simply trying, these are the stuff which is trying to describe bluff. If you don't come down to this, then description of a bluff should be in same format. Hissing and rearing back. It cannot be verb over here. It is verb broadens, comma, finning, crap. Broadens and fins, wrong. Why? Because hissing and rearing back is not in a verb form. Broadening and fins, wrong. Broadening, comma, finning is wrong because it says finning is happening because of broadening. But these are two different characteristics of Ognusnek. That bluff, the characteristic of bluff is it is broadening and finning, not broadening, comma, finning. That will be wrong. But if you get into that core part of the reasoning, you will have to not at all use your head in the first part of the sentence. Absolutely. C is the straightforward answer. Question number 20, please. Take 2 minutes for this. Good question. A, okay. Answers, please. Absolutely. So see here, if you follow a Van pattern, 1 second, it's answer. Grown is a verb. Growth noun, growth noun, growth noun, growth noun. So this is a straightforward answer. But again, one pattern should not be the result of you marking answer right now until you are done with 300, 400 questions. So let's look into this. So before we get into this, there's a very common idioms that are actually tested in the exam. It says both X and Y, either X or Y. These are not idiom, these are writing structure also. This should be written in this way. Either X or Y. And neither X nor Y. Not only X, but also Y. Not X, but Y. From X to Y. Declare XY. All these things are there. But these things are like, so in all these cases, be very sure that X and Y should be 100% parallel. Now look into this. Now when we look into this stuff, since 1990, now since is what? Since is the ongoing action. Whenever since comes, has and have should come. For sure, because it depicts ongoing action. You cannot say the growth of global economy since 1990 exceeds. This is crap. You have to say has exceeded, have exceeded, something like that. You can't say exceeds. You can't use present tense with since 1990. Imagine this is something that you could not figure it out. Imagine. But then understand what is that, what is which, what is what is what. So these are stupid pronoun which is mentioned over here. 100%. Other could be from when agriculture began. See here. From when agriculture began to 1950. What is 1950? Noun. And what is agriculture began? Verb. So from X to Y, X and Y should be 100% parallel. If you are taking X as a verb, Y should be a verb. But Y is given a noun and it is not underlined. So you can never ever challenge the non-underlined part of the sentence. Be very sure. Whatever happens, don't do that at all. Never challenge the non-underlined part. So to 1950 is a noun. D says began. This is wrong for that reason. B says began. This is wrong for that reason. C is anyway wrong because of that, which exceeds. So I'm left just with A. And right answer will always be right. So check in right answer from X to Y. So from the beginning of agriculture, this is noun. To 1950, this is noun. So A is the right one. Anyone, any doubt? If you use one pattern, it's straightforward. Straightforward. Okay, let's do 5 more questions and then I'll leave you. I think it's getting too much. Just 5 more questions and I'll leave. After that, we'll do it in the next class. 21 number. This is also a very good question, by the way. What the answer? Please tell. You are most humbly, respectfully requested to answer the question. Good. Okay. So tell me, why is A, B, C wrong, by the way? Why is A, B, and C wrong? Anyone? Harsh, Akansha.
I thought of it as
This refers Sorry, go ahead, go ahead.
Please tell Akansha.
Yeah, so I thought of it as, and apparently, which apparently, I thought of it as, it's anyways going back to hydrocarbons. So apparently,
Yeah, that's true, because it says that this is wrong, this is wrong. Which the point is, when it goes back to a hydrocarbon, read the sentence: hydrocarbon assist flies to taste the hydrocarbon. Do you actually feel it make any sense? Hydrocarbon assist flies to taste the hydrocarbon. No sense. Which goes back to a hydrocarbon. First of all, it can't go back to a hydrocarbon. Why? Because between which and the noun there should be no verb at all. So are known to be important in courtship. But in fact, even it goes back to a hydrocarbon, do you actually feel hydrocarbon flies that taste the hydrocarbon? No. This is a very clear-cut cause and effect situation, and a very subtle. I'll just show you how it is a cause and effect situation. So please understand, when you read the entire statement, hydrocarbon with which fruit flies perfume themselves in species-specific blends are known to be important in courtship, and apparently this assist flies that taste the hydrocarbon. No. So please understand, hydrocarbon, because hydrocarbon flies perfume themselves in a species-specific blend. That's the reason it is apparently assisting flies to taste the hydrocarbon. Be very sure about it. It's 100% a cause and effect situation given in a manner which will be hard. It will be hard for you to find. So because as per the meaning clarity, because hydrocarbon flies perfume themselves in species specific blends, and that's the reason it is assisting flies to taste the hydrocarbon. You cannot say this assist flies, and which assist flies. That's crap. Apparently assisting flies to taste the hydrocarbon or perspective made to distinguish their own species from those of others. Now, when you have written others, then there is no requirement of those of. It's a sort of a redundant. So this is wrong for sure. So E is the right one. Now, this is what I was telling you, Ulash, that Van pattern sometimes fails. This is verb. And this is indistinguishing. But please understand the reason. First of all, D is very wrong because of those of others makes no sense at all. And in America, it says indistinguishing is a right idiom. So you can't challenge. The moment they say idiom, it means you can't challenge anything. You just have to accept that fact that this is right. That's it. Because idioms are slang. So Van pattern sometime, guys. Now this is very stupid thing. You should know that indistinguishing is a right idiom. And to distinguish from those of others is crap. To distinguish from others, that's it. That's more than sufficient. You don't have to say those of, because those of is going back to what? Others is going back to the same thing to what those of is going back to. So this is a place where Van pattern takes a hit, but please understand it's a very stupid reason saying that indistinguishing is a right idiom. So I have to use indistinguishing here from sure, but I can promise you 99% it won't fail. I say 90% because 10% I keep for myself, that tomorrow if you come and shout at me, Rahul, you have told 100%, it's fine. There's nothing called 100% in literature. Please understand, nothing at all. No one can teach you 100%. You have to figure out for yourself. But I can promise you 99% this will be right. If you are trapped in two options, use Van pattern. Here it is very clear. Those of is wrong because others and those of is going back to the same thing. And indistinguishing, they say is the right idiom. That's the reason I was telling you, sometime it may fail. So don't put a resort of you marking an answer using Van pattern. But do think about it 100%. Once you are done with 200, 300 questions, you will be 100% be marking a right answer based on Van pattern, that I promise you. Question number 22, please. Easy one. So Vanessa, take a minute. Don't take more than that. Just 3 more questions and I'll stop.
So I think, Rahul, there is no end to this idiom part.
No end, no end, absolutely. It's like, that's why I'm telling you, do not at all get into idioms and all is the entire logic will get crap. I'm telling you, you will not think on the logic, you will start thinking about idioms, which is absolutely not recommended. Because max to max, one question can come from idiom and then leave that question. We are not there to go and get 800 out of 800. That is impossible to get 400 out of 400 in Google. It's okay. Let's be very realistic. It's an easy one. Please try. Yeah. So it says that have risen will continue to rise, have risen will continue to rise, has risen will. This looks very good in listening, but trust me, this is a redundant statement in even. What do you mean by have risen and will continue to rise? should be just continue to rise. That's it. So it's a redundant. Now between C and E, the company management was, they have given you, this is a singular form, company management. The company management was and there, subject verb agreement. You don't have to use your head at all. You just scan and the answer is in front of you. You don't have to think for a bit also, this is plural, singular and all. It is given was, it means was here, it means it is 100% singular. And was in there, it does not matches to subject verb agreement error. So this is wrong. Question number 23, pretty simple one. Please try. Take a minute. Just know what is the correct modifier, that's it. Hundred percent, because giving its authoritative coverage on other science topics. Science topics will be in textbook or it will be in chapter. You have to think for yourself. In one chapter, there can't be more than one science topic. So chapter is gone, chapter is gone, chapters is gone. I'm just left with C and E. So when you mark C, the textbook contains a surprising and tentative chapter on genetic, which leads to, tell me what is which going back to? If at all it goes back to genetics, do you think genetics will lead one to doubt author scholarship? Even if it goes back to a chapter, do you think chapter will lead ones to doubt author scholarship? This is crap. It's a straight away cause and effect situation. It says that because textbook is surprisingly tentative in its chapter on genetics, and that's the reason it is leading one to doubt author scholarship in that particular area. So here leading is going back to the entire clause. Because textbook is surprisingly tentative in its chapter on genetic, which is leading one to doubt author scholarship. So it should be leading. You cannot say which lead, it leads and all this stuff. So E is the right answer. C is wrong. I hope it's clear. Perfect. Try question number 24. And one more 25 will do and we'll stop. Take 2 minutes for this. Easy one. Okay. What the answer? Tell. Read the question, it's very simple. Just understand what is the main subject and the main verb. It will be all okay. Since 1989, after the Berlin Wall had been demolished. So 1989 Berlin Wall was demolished, right? This is East Berlin and this is West Berlin. Imagine for so many years, people from East Berlin could not come to West Berlin and people from West Berlin could not go to East Berlin. This was under communist, under Russia. And this was under US. So imagine for a long time, this was under communist till date. Imagine 1989 Berlin Wall had been demolished, but till date, the people who live in the eastern part of the Russia, they asked to government that give me everything. Now I'm not working, you have to give me food, you have to give me house. They don't want to work at all. Communism means communism, the ideology of communism was this only, that whatever you do, government will pay you. You work as a company manager, you work as a cobbler, you work as whatsoever. Till date, that habit is not gone. Imagine, till date, in 1989, now it is complete Berlin, one Germany's capital. But till date, there are certain people from East Germany who straight away start asking from government that give me money. Now it's completely capitalist economy. You want to work, you want, do whatever you want to do. There's no control of government. But till date, this habit is still not gone. Till date, it is seen, visible. You read the German reports and you will see a lot of time that give me this. They protest that you have to give me food, you have to give me home to live without them working at all. They don't want to work also. So it says since 1989, after the Berlin Wall had been demolished, one of the most problematic ethnic group in reunified Germany, in culture and economic assimilation term, this is crap. One of the most problematic ethnic group in the reunified Germany were. So remember, like we have read example, one of my friends is an IT professional, or I can say Gauri is one of my friends who are IT professionals. So in the first sentence, when I say one of my friends is an IT professional, so that one guy is doing the action to is an IT professional. Simple logic. So here it is one of the most problematic ethnic group in the reunified Germany. This is all crap in culture. Were the farmers. So your one is singular and this is plural. So subject verb agreement error. This is one were out. This is one. This is were out. This is one. This is was. This is one. This is has. Okay. This is one and this is have out. I'm left with C and D. Since denotes what? Ongoing action. So since 1989, when the Berlin Wall was demolished, one of the most problematic ethnic group in reunified Germany has been former East Germany. So C, D is wrong. Sorry, C is wrong. D is right because C says was. And this is since. Since denotes ongoing action. So it since has and have comes into picture. I hope it's clear. Anyone any problem? Let's do the last question, 25th, and then we'll stop. Easy question, not a tough one. Yep. Others answers, please. Okay. Yeah. So see here, it says that the Federal Reserve announcement said that growth had accelerated after slowing down in the second quarter, and that straight away said that and that. It means question is testing on that and that parallelism. Simple logic. So here's that and that. Perfect. There's no that over here. There's and that over here. Wrong. There's a that over here. There's no that over here. Wrong. No that. No that. Wrong. There's that over here. There's a that over here. Now I'm left with A and E. Now between A and E, like let's look into this. It said that growth had accelerated and growth accelerated. Now again, there are two scanning. In scan, we have got two things: had accelerated, and then this is accelerated. So moment it is had accelerated, I should look, are there two actions in the past or not? And if there are two actions, this should be the first action. Simple logic. So said is one action. So obviously after the growth will accelerate or deaccelerate, only then the Federal Reserve announcement will say something. So this is the second action, this is the first action. That and that parallelism, past perfect uses, and that's it. I hope it's clear. Any doubt, anybody?
Yeah, sure, but I have a question that is it that GMAT's going to be testing you only on one of the factors? What if there is that parallelism and something else also that you have to factor in while reading?
Subjunctive constructions, right? No. It's a very standard exam, Gauri. They will not desperately create mistakes and they'll desperately make mistakes. Never. If they're testing on that and
Okay.
that parallelism, they'll only test you on that and that parallelism. If they're testing on futuristic construction, subjunctive construction, they'll only test you on subjunctive. If there's something like
So each sentence,
that's
each
it.
sentence will have only one thing that's being tested on, right? There
100%.
won't be multiple things.
Please understand, this is one of the most standard exam of verbal that you are giving in the world. If you prepare for this verbal, everything would be taken care of. Everything would be taken care of. I can tell you. Like I had a student called Chirag. He has never prepared for verbal at all in his life for CAT. He just went and he wrote CAT without any preparation. He's like, sir, I've got 99.9 percentile in English. I don't know how. I've never even prepared for CAT. Never. His total percentile was 99.7 or 3. So I don't think so even he's taking GMAT now or not. He's in third year right now. So GMAT verbal is one of the most standard verbal, I would say, Gauri. They will never do all this bullshit stuff that they give you that and that parallelism. They give you subjunctive constructions. Now you keep thinking that this is a futuristic verb or a reporting verb. Those things will never happen. That I promise you. Never ever happen. Absolutely.
Right.
You can be 1000% sure about it. But if you take a mock of, like, let's say, you should take a standard mock. I loved Veritas a lot. Right now, there's a Manhattan, except for GMAT prep. But if you go and take Experts Global and all, then you will go mad in their sentence correction. They'll start testing you like a basic grammars, what we test in what we have studied in India. So don't take all these things. I'll tell you what all mocks you have to take. Don't take anything alto falto, please. GMAT Club Manhattan, that's it. There's nothing else at all. And GMAT prep. If you have to score, you will score in with all these 3 mocks. If you don't have to score, you give 20 mocks, nothing gonna happen. Absolutely. So A is the right answer. So for next class, what we are going to do is question number 26 to 30 will complete this. 31 to 35 also will complete. Nothing to worry about. 31 to 35, I keep doing 2 or 3 problems in each class. So please 31 to 35, you can do it at the last, no issues at all. So 26 to 30 will complete. We can do 2 or 3 questions from here. There are just 5 questions. And then 31 to the next SC session 2, SC questions 2 file, I'll send it to you. But please ensure, if you are doing questions in any other way, I'm not responsible, guys. I'm telling you, I've told you very clearly the 3 steps that you should follow while doing the question. Don't worry about you are getting right or wrong. I promise SC handout 2 questions 2 will be, you will feel it easier than 1, and third, you will feel it much easier than 1. That I promise. So I'll send you the homework today with the videos. And so for next class, SC 5 questions, 26 to 30, and then SC session 2 questions file. There are 30 questions. So we'll try to cover all the 40 questions. But next class, we'll be doing 40 questions. Because we had 1 hour we wasted on the SC theory. So next class will complete 40 questions, 26 to 30 questions of second file, plus these 5 questions. We can try, no issues at all. And for maths, for quant, I have told you very clearly, there are 15 days now. Please ensure that your inequality and your absolute value is you can make it as clear as for yourself. You can do it. You have 15 days time. I'm not taking next class. I'm just finishing absolute value and stopping. But I'm telling you very clearly, number system, I'll not give you 2 class. I'll give you just 1 class. Because in number system, my main purpose to give 2 class was to clear your backlog. So it's better you clear your backlogs right now. Do inequality, do good number of inequality and absolute value problem. Because after absolute value, you're studying statistic. And stats is a very easy chapter. I would say very practical chapter. Like, let's say when I say let's say you have, like, there are 10 students who have written a GMAT exam. I say you the median score of these 10 students is 700. What exactly you mean by this? So we'll try to, I'm very good at stats. I'm very good at connecting in practical way. So it should not be a problem at all. Don't worry. It will be a very easy one. But right now for next 15 days, next math class would be hardly of 1 hour. We'll just finish the inequality, the remaining questions of absolute value and stop. But please work on these chapters. These chapters will define your entire math, I'm telling you. If you are good in these two chapters, no other chapters will not be a problem for you at all. Number system is again the most important chapter, but if these chapters are not good, number system is screwed up royally, I can tell you. So work on these chapters. You have 15 days time from this. Next week for maths, it's just a 1.5 hour class. We'll finish absolute value and I'll stop. I won't go into stats, but I've sent you the video. I've sent you everything about stats in the mail. Okay. So let's meet next Saturday. We'll finish stats, and Sunday we'll finish SC. I'll send you the mail about Sunday's question, next questions of SC, but please ensure. Why I have told you so much to do in SC, because when you write And if you are not confident with an option, your mind will not accept that at all. The only purpose of me giving you writing is that to understand very properly that why something is wrong and why something is right. Do not accept anything and move on. If you're not able to concentrate, if you're not able to understand, just mark that question, ask me sometime, look into GMATLab, whatsoever. But with these 100 questions, don't simply move on. Ki, haan, chalo, this is the answer, that is wrong anyway. It's not about wrong anyway. It should be wrong with a particular reasoning, and that reasoning should be known to you. Okay. So please study in this way. I'll send you the mail by evening. Chalo, sir, let's meet next Saturday, Sunday. Saturday, absolute value. Sunday, we'll continue with the sentence correction question. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye, Rahul.
Bye.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, Rahul.
Bye.
Thank you.